This video continues with Chapter 126, Civilian Naruto, Invincible from the Eight Gates. Chapter 126, So awesome, Lock Lee said in surprise. Indeed, the technique that Senior Musashi taught Tenten is very powerful. Hyuga Neji said solemnly, if I were to encounter it head-on, I wouldn't be sure to take it. You can only look for opportunities to attack the caster. Lock Lee asked curiously, doesn't the gentle fist have a move that is also known as an absolute defensive move? Hyuga Neji looked at him coldly, as if he wanted to hit him. Yes, but I am not qualified to learn it. Little Lee, sorry. It's okay. Hyuga Neji retracted his gaze. It's just a ninjutsu. Since the predecessors were able to create this technique out of thin air, there is no reason why the future generations can't do it. Really, Ningsai, you have to do your best. Rock Lee's eyes were pure. Then he looked at the field, thinking about the ninjutsu that Tenten had just performed, with envy in his eyes. Tenten is so lucky. It's really great to be able to learn powerful ninjutsu. Yearning tilde. See Siggy, tilde too. At the edge of the nearest stand, Uzumaki Naruto and Rock Lee held the railing, their eyes wide open, and said, very powerful technique. Uchiha Sasuke also came over and spoke with a serious look. The female ninja of Sunagakure is very strong. I didn't expect Tanshin to be able to tie with him. Sasuke Uchiha turned his head and looked at Naruto Uzumaki. Big brother is so biased. He knows such a powerful technique, but he didn't teach me. Big brother Musashi is so biased. You know such a powerful technique, but you didn't teach me. I'll ask the boss, brother Musashi, to teach me this technique when I get back. That technique is the Rasengan for sure. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood on the high platform, watching from afar as Suzumiya Musashi carried Tenten to the stands. Uchiha Izumi, who had been watching the game in the stands, immediately took over silently and began to treat him. Did Minato teach him? Exhaling a puff of smoke to block his vision, Sarutobi Hiruzen recalled the time when Suzumiya Musashi first came into contact with Uzumaki Naruto. I will not leave Naruto, and I will never allow others to leave me for any reason. The reason for me to leave, where the leaves of Konoha flutter, the fire will never cease. Although I cannot protect the entire village like the Hokage, I will also carry out this will of fire to the end and use my own strength to protect the village. The bright light burns itself. The boy's passionate and impulsive appearance seems to be still before his eyes. Thinking of the technique mastered by Suzumiya Musashi, Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that he had misjudged it at the beginning. Whether Suzumiya Musashi's will of fire is pure or not, the other party is definitely not as innocent as he appears to be. Musashi, it seems you are also a person with something on your mind. Forget it, let's deal with it after the Chunin exam. Sarutobi Hiruzen whispered to himself, put it aside for now. The most important thing at the moment is to ensure that the Chunin exam goes smoothly, and to be prepared for the sudden appearance of Orochimaru. The game continues. Next game, Hinata Hyuga versus Neji Hyuga. Looking at as the two walked into the arena, Suzumiya Musashi felt that there must be something fishy about the arrangement of the contestants. It was strange to let the main family and the branch family of Hyuga confront each other. The conflict between the main family and the branch family of Hyuga had been going on for a long time. The previous generation, Hyuga Hayashi died for Hyuga Hayashi. Now, Hisashi's outstanding descendant, Neji, faces off against the ordinary Hyuga lady Hinata. It looks full of drama. At the beginning of the battle, Hyuga Neji showed full suppression power. Facing the eldest daughter of the Zong family, he did not hold back and his moves were ruthless. The soft fist unique to the Hyuga family, with strong penetrating power, hit Hyuga Hinata with chakra, and Suzumiya Musashi couldn't help but frown. Another Sigma man. However, there were no men or women on the field. Hinata has not admitted defeat yet, and Suzumiya Musashi will not stop her, but just watch quietly. By the way, let's analyze the characteristics of the soft fist. Compared with the hard fist that he and Might Guy mainly practiced, the characteristics of the soft fist very vivid. Precise, subtle, elegant, Under the extremely penetrating soft fist chakra attack, ordinary defense is completely ineffective. Once hit, the enemy's response will become increasingly difficult until they are unable to move. Of course, there are also disadvantages. It is okay when facing ordinary enemies, but once facing long-range attacks and powerful ninjutsu, the disadvantage of the soft fist's insufficient attack distance will be revealed. As for the so-called absolute defense, Kaiten. Too soon, no. Suzumiya Musashi felt that compared to the Kaiten, which sounded very grand, this move was more suitable for another name: don't get close to me. Even if the Byakugan was not considered, such a technique was not suitable for him. In the field, as the battle continued, Hyuga Neji couldn't help but start a conversation with Hyuga Hinata, who was not very motivated. What fate, main family, bird in a cage, and so on. However, Hyuga Hinata still had no intention of fighting. When she saw Hyuga Neji perform the main family's secret 8 trigrams, 64 palms, there was only sadness in her eyes. This is her brother, who obviously has a talent far beyond her, but is destined to bear a tragic fate because of his different background. As a gentle person, she can't fight against such an opponent at all. Bang tilde. Hyuga Hinata couldn't hold on any longer and collapsed on the ground. The winner is Hyuga Neji. Suzumiya Musashi immediately read out the result of the game. Hinata Hyuga fell to the ground. She obviously lost, but she still said, "You have been more miserable than me all along. The one who is confused and miserable is you." Hyuga Neji's eyes trembled. The dead Hyuga Hisashi. Even though they were of the same clan, they could not be taught the 8 trigrams, 64 palms, and return to heaven. The bird in the cage that could not be escaped. Hinata Hyuga's pitying eyes made his remaining rationality completely disappear, and he rushed towards Hinata Hyuga like crazy. Bang! A green figure flashed in front of him in an instant. The soft fist hit hard, hitting the opponent's chest and abdomen as if hitting a stone wall. Hyuga Neji raised his head, and the madness just now remained in his shocked eyes. Senior Musashi, do you have to protect the daughter of the main family too? Feeling the effect of the soft fist chakra impacting his body, Suzumiya Musashi said seriously, "First, the game is over. It is against the rules to attack now. Second, even if I protect Hinata, it is not because of her identity as the eldest daughter of the Hyuga family, but because she is Naruto's friend." Naruto's friend? Hyuga Neji's madness slowly subsided. Looking at Hyuga Hinata on the side, he couldn't imagine how the other party, who was dull, could have other friends. "That's right, Naruto's friend," Suzumiya Musashi said, pointing at Hyuga Hinata. "A long time ago, she practiced with us in the woods." "Yes, I'm talking about you, Hinata. I know everything you did secretly." Chapter 127. The two of them were in a state of panic. Hinata Hyuga, X. Whether it was because she was shy or because she was too injured, Hinata Hyuga closed her eyes and fainted. After the medical staff took her away, Suzumiya Musashi looked at Neji Hyuga. "Take action after the game, warning once. Next game, Gaara will play Rock Lee." It's his turn. In the stands, Uchiha Sasuke instantly cheered up when he heard and saw Rock Lee's name. Since the last fight, he has firmly remembered the name Rock Lee. After all, there are not many people in Konoha who can tie with him or even beat his peers. Especially this time, the opponent is Gaara, the Sand Village ninja who also showed strong strength in the second game. Of course, he watched this match carefully and didn't dare to miss a minute. In the field, Gaara's sand-like body condensed out of thin air and looked up waiting for the opponent to arrive. Rock Lee was still receiving on-the-spot guidance from Might Guy. "Little Lee, did you see that gourd? The opponent must be extraordinary with such a strange thing on his back." Rock Lee looked as if he suddenly understood. Yoshi, such an important thing, must be remembered. Bang tilde with a slap, Might Guy hated him for not fighting. "Fool, what time is it now? Just remember such an important thing in your heart. Go, little Lee tilde. Go and defeat your opponent. Don't worry, Teacher Kai." As the two players stood up, a low and depressing atmosphere began to spread. One is a Konoha eccentric. One is the wind shadow. One has been practicing physical skills since childhood. One of them was cheated by his parents. Neither of them was weak. The moment their eyes met, they felt strong self-confidence from each other. This is a sure thing. Outside the field, Kankuro and Temari smiled with their mouths tilted. The strong trust in Gaara made them not think that a ninja in strange clothes could pose a threat to Gaara. Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke were just the opposite. The one with the gourd on his back was indeed very strong, but Rock Lee, who could defeat both of them, would be the final winner. Konoha Whirlwind, tilde. Rock Lee shouted, and the battle started in an instant. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 tilde. Fists and feet were constantly swinging. The loud noise caused by the collision made every audience who heard it feel the power of the collision. However, such attacks could not cause trouble for Gaara. Every time when he was about to touch his opponent, he would be blocked by the yellow sand that suddenly appeared. Once, twice, 3 times. It seemed that no matter how many punches he threw, the yellow sand would block them all. Under the perfect defense and counterattack, Rock Lee felt that the game experience was extremely poor. After a moment, he stopped punching and kicking and stepped back with his toes on the ground. He slightly bent his legs and looked at Gaara on the opposite side, trying to find a flaw in the opponent's yellow sand defense. But before he could find the flaw, the sand that had been defending suddenly flew up and then attacked Rock Lee actively as if it had life. Swish, swish, swish tilde. Why does Rock Lee only use physical skills? If he used ninjutsu to deal with it, the effect would be better, right? On the stage, Haruno Sakura looked at Rock Lee's mirror image who was escaping from the yellow sand in danger and said with some worry and confusion, "It's not that I don't use it, but I don't know how to use it." The voice in her ear made her stunned. Might Guy said beside him, "Lee, you don't know any ninjutsu." Haruno Sakura, "Impossible." Might Guy said, "When I first met Lee, I didn't have any feelings for him. He didn't have any talent. Compared to the surprise I got from Musashi when I first met him, Lee left me with a very average impression. Clumsy, no talent. Indeed, there are very few ninjas who can't use ninjutsu and illusion. So, to survive as a ninja, the only way for Lei is physical skills. And now, I believe he will win." Might Guy said, turning around and looking at Rock Lee, who had been forced into a corner in the field. Shouted Lee, "Take it off, tilde." Sakura, take it off, letter FF9F de letter FF9F. Take off what? Rock Lee raised his head, but Mr. Guy, you said that you can only. It doesn't matter. I agree, Might Guy laughed. As a close master and apprentice, how could he not understand Rock Lee's thoughts and expectations? Bloom, little Lee. Let everyone see your talent and hard work. Under the stage, Suzumiya Musashi watched this scene quietly. Big Brother Kai, you finally agreed. Rock Lee was stunned. The expression on his face froze for 2 seconds, and then he was full of surprise. He stood up in a flash, sitting cross-legged, revealing the weight under his feet. As the 2 bundles of root metal weights were removed, Rock Lee's face showed unprecedented ease and excitement. Great, this is much easier. Outside the field, Uzumaki Naruto showed his original look. Sauga, it turns out that little Lee is carrying weights. This is good. Temari and Kankuro sneered disdainfully. Temari even directly mocked, this little trick is boring. Uchiha Sasuke looked at Temari with disdain. As a person who trained with Suzumiya Musashi, he never dared to underestimate the weight on the green clothes. The next second, the roar that resounded through the venue verified his thoughts. Boom, tilde. The falling weight gave the ground a soul-stirring blow. The huge roar made every audience member open their eyes wide. The venue was shaking, and the ground was cracking. The weight smashed the ground and splashed a large amount of sand and dust. Until the shaking subsided, and everyone had not yet woken up from the shock, Suzumiya Musashi's cold voice brought everyone back to their senses. Deliberately damaging the competition venue, warning once. Might Guy's clenched fists suddenly froze, and the youth quote he was about to shout out was choked in his throat. He looked at Suzumiya Musashi, who had disrupted his mood with some resentment. Musashi, this guy, really. Luckily, sorry. Chapter 128. The first time he saw the opponent, he was still in the middle of the game. Will he not be disqualified? A guess flashed through his mind, and he dared not act rashly anymore. He fell down from a high place and looked at his opponent. Kono Hatejutsu Ninja, Rock Lee, come on. After saying that, he put aside his distracting thoughts and only had his eyes on the opponent in front of him. Boom, 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 boom. Rock Lee's figure turned into a series of green afterimages. The huge momentum far exceeded that of the previous competition, making the audience stay where they were. This strange guy, is he so powerful? Some people who observed carefully swept their eyes over Suzumiya Musashi in the field and Might Guy on the stage. An idea came to his mind. Are all guys wearing this outfit so powerful? No, absolutely not. The sound of breaking wind continued, and the sound of vibrations resounded. Rock Lee turned into a green afterimage, constantly bombarding around Gaara. However, the absolute defense formed by the yellow sand was not something he could break through at his current speed. The enemy did not react, and the sand was ready to deal with it. Damn it, what's going on? Look at his appearance, he obviously didn't react in time. Why did the sand block for him? In doubt, Rock Lee could only increase his power output again. As the movement became faster and faster, the afterimage became more and more blurred. Finally, Gaara's sand began to have holes. Bang! A heavy blow hit Gaara's face. The powerful force made Gaara fly backwards, and the sand allowed him to stabilize his body halfway, with his eyes fixed on Rock Lee in front of him. Looking at each other in the air, the thoughts in their minds were very similar. It's just relying on sand. It's just relying on physical skills. Both players have very extreme methods. One is a ninja who can't perform illusion ninjutsu, but only physical skills. The other is a monster who stands still and only controls sand to fight the enemy. The same thing is that the only method they showed was ridiculously strong, beyond the limit that a genin could achieve. Very good attack, hee. Looking at the perverted smile on Gaara's face, Rock Lee narrowed his eyes. Isn't it enough? In that case, it's time for the lotus to bloom. Swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The speed was so fast that Gaara's eyes could hardly keep up. Rock Lee began to run quickly on the periphery, bringing up a tornado of sand and dust. What exactly do you want to do? The speed is really fast. However, no matter how fast it is, it can't break my absolute defense. Before the thought disappeared, there was a loud noise in his ears, and Rock Lee's figure had flashed in front of him. The yellow sand blocked the opponent's heavy blow. Rock Lee's face was calm, and he flashed out again. Bang! Bang! Bang tilde! A series of noises echoed in the venue. As the speed increased, Gaara began to get a little anxious. Too fast. My sand, it's almost. Bang tilde. The so-called absolute defense finally slowed down once in front of Rock Lee's outstanding strength and speed. A size 40 shoe sole was imprinted on Gaara's chin. The huge force made his chin numb in an instant. Before the pain could be transmitted to the brain, his figure flew high, and the next moment, the sound of breaking wind sounded in his ears. Nanny! The tough bandage wrapped Gaara and the big gourd together. Strong hands hugged him tightly from behind, and then under the action of gravity, he fell rapidly. His body began to spin, and Gaara felt that his brain was about to be turned out, and the enemy's indistinct roar exploded in his ears. Bio-Lionhua. Not good. Boom, tilde. The ground cracked. Yellow sand and gravel flew, and the strong roar almost lifted the roof of the stadium. In the stands, many people shrank their necks in fear, and more people stood up to see the specific situation in the field. The dust dissipated. Rock Lee, dressed in green, landed on the sidelines, panting violently. His eyes were also fixed on the place where the dust gathered. Did you win? No. In the deep pit. Yellow sand flowed. Gaara lay in the depression on the ground, and the sand armor on his cheeks peeled off. After he came to his senses, his face began to look grim. Great. This kind of pain. How long has it been since I felt this impulsive urge to kill someone? I'm going to kill you. Use my sand to eat you whole. The yellow sand swept across. Gaara's bloodthirsty eyes startled Rock Lee, who barely supported his body to avoid the sand attack. Run faster. Suzumiya Musashi frowned at the bloodthirsty boy in front of him. Resisting the urge to punch him, he turned his gaze to Rock Lee. Looking at the painful expression on the other's face when he moved, he made a judgment in his heart. Is the body consumed too much? Rock Lee may be a hard-working genius, as he said. However, geniuses also need to grow, let alone a hard-working genius. In his opinion, Rock Lee's talent is not as good as Might Guy's. Without family inheritance, without systematic physical training, he began to accept Might Guy's formal teaching at the age of graduation. The time is too short. If you want to fight an enemy who is cheating, such a short period of growth is not enough. Don't think that the opponent can now open the 5th gate of the 8 gates. But being able to open the gate is one thing, and whether it can exert its power is another. The opponent now can only use the outer lotus flower with difficulty. It is not worth it to use the 8 gates forcibly just to fight for a moment. If he is Might Guy, he will let Rock Lee admit defeat now. Unfortunately, he is the referee. Finally, Rock Lee's figure kept retreating backwards, and Gaara's sand began to converge. If the outer lotus flower doesn't work, should we use the inner lotus flower? Rock Lee did not act immediately. With a violent breathing that has not yet calmed down, he raised his head and looked at his teacher, Might Guy, outside the field. Looking at him with an inquiring look, he saw the latter nod slightly. Rock Lee's eyes suddenly brightened. Renhua's fatigue from performing the trick was not eliminated, but her mood was lifted. If he continues like this, he will die. Outside the field, Kankuro commented coldly. Are all the people in Konoha such idiots? Temari said, glancing at Uzumaki Naruto. Such a fight is worthless. I can't understand it. This is simply, Temari couldn't say anything more. She looked at Rock Lee in the field unexpectedly. The opponent, who had just looked embarrassed, had his eyes glowing again, and the whole person seemed to be full of strength. How could it be? He is obviously about to die. No one answered her question. Rock Lee, who had activated the brain area restriction and physical strength restriction, was now full of confidence. Then he bent his legs slightly and clenched his fists. No, I am the only one who lost in this place. Teacher Kai, please recognize me. Now is the time to implement my ninja way. The 3rd life gate open. Ah, tilde, a loud roar. Rock Lee's skin quickly began to turn red. A strong airflow rose around him. An unprecedented strong momentum appeared on him. What is this? Such a strong pressure. Reddened. As everyone exclaimed, Kakashi Hadake's face was serious outside the field. Are you going to take action? Not yet, Might Guy interrupted him. This is not the limit of Zio Lee. Kakashi Hadake turned to Might Guy and said with a low look, Kai. This is too much. I don't want to ask what that child means to you, nor do I want to tell you not to be emotional. But Kai, everything has its limits. Letting this child perform this technique now will cost someone's life. Might Guy didn't care about his best friend's voice. He looked at Rock Lee, who was accumulating power in the field, and said softly, You don't understand, Kakashi. You don't understand. Lee has something he wants to prove even if he dies. Hadake Kakashi, is that so? Kai, maybe I don't understand the thoughts of you Taijutsu ninjas. But in my opinion, that child can't bear this technique. Might Guy said, Kakashi, Musashi said something similar to me before, asking me not to agree to Lee using this technique. I refused. For that child, he has been patient for too long. It's time for youth to bloom. Boom, 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 tilde. Chapter 129. The roar continued. Many people frowned and covered their ears tightly. Or they blocked the airflow in front of their eyes with their arms and opened their eyes to see the battle in the field. Unfortunately, the battle was too fast. For most people who were not genin or even genin, they could only see a series of afterimages flashing by. Even, they could only see the green shadow pause for a moment at the moment of attack, and then disappear again. Boom boom, tilde tilde. Gaara was like a rag doll that was about to break, swinging back and forth in the air with continuous blows. The so-called strongest person in the Sand Village competition had no power to resist Rock Lee, who turned on the acceleration experience. The sand around him could not keep up with Rock Lee's attack speed, and he could only rely on the sand armor on his body to barely support him. As the attack continued, the sand armor continued to break. Rock Lee looked at the enemy in front of him and recalled the past scenes in his mind. He was humiliated by his classmates during the ninja school. He tried again and again, but was far behind. He tried his best to catch up, but was easily defeated by Neji every time. And Might Guy, who gave him hope again when he was desperate. People who don't even believe in themselves have no value in trying. Teacher Kai, watch me defeat my opponent, watch me, and implement my own ninja way. Ningsai, this move is left for you. This shout was heard by everyone in the venue. The nervous and shocked Hyuga, Neji outside the venue, suddenly opened his mouth wide. Hadate Kakashi subconsciously glanced at Might Guy and stepped back half a step. On the field, Gaara tried his best to push the sand around him to the front. Fifth Daman, K. Bang, with a muffled sound, Rock Lee's shouting stopped abruptly. Rock Lee, who was hit hard on the back of his neck, rolled his eyes and fainted without a sound. Damn it, why can't he control his hands? Feeling everyone's eyes focused on him, Suzumiya Musashi thought to himself. He couldn't help it again. The energy in Rock Lee's body was still whistling, and Suzumiya Musashi stretched out his hand and pressed on the opponent's body. Ninjutsu, River Seal. The energy converged. The momentum dissipated. The whole field was in an uproar. What's going on? So fast. Why would the referee take action? There is a conspiracy. Why would the referee take action? The discussion became chaotic. Suzumiya Musashi turned a deaf ear to it. The figure flashed and disappeared, and when it reappeared, it came to Uchiha Izumi in the stands. Izumi, treat. Suzumiya Musashi spoke directly. Uchiha Izumi, who had been informed by Suzumiya Musashi to prepare, said nothing, rolled his eyes at the impolite opponent, and stretched out his hands to sense Rock Lee's condition. Many bones were fractured throughout the body, a large number of muscles were broken, and the physical strength was overdrawn. While making the judgment, a green light flashed on his hands, and he used the palm fairy technique to treat the opponent urgently. Suzumiya Musashi breathed a sigh of relief. Not bad. Musashi, Might Guy quickly appeared beside him. Why did you suddenly stop the game, Zaioli? Suzumiya Musashi did not speak, and for the first time looked at Might Guy angrily. Before he could speak, Uchiha Izumi had already spoken sternly. If it weren't for Musashi's action, this kid's ninja career would be over. What? Might Guy was shocked. How could this happen? Rock Lee could have opened the fifth gate. His spine and limbs have multiple fractures, and his muscles are broken all over his body. There are even tiny broken bones. If it had been a little later, I'm sure he would have been crippled. Uchiha Izumi looked extremely dissatisfied. Is he your disciple? If he had continued to fight, it's hard to say whether he could have survived. How could this happen? Might Guy was scared. Brother Kai, Suzumiya Musashi's voice was full of complaints. I said, Rock Lee is different from you. You still have the energy to act stupid after opening the 8 gates, but Rock Lee will probably be in trouble after opening the 8 gates. Might Guy was speechless. Atilda Suzumiya Musashi sighed. Originally, he didn't plan to take action. On the one hand, he was a referee, representing the face of Konoha. On the other hand, he didn't like Rock Lee. The other party often showed. He actually looked down on stupid and pretentious people. But the other party was Brother Kai's disciple. He was the only one in Konoha who wore green tights like them and was willing to dedicate his life to hard training. He didn't want to see such a person ruin himself just because of an unnecessary exam. As for the doubts that the referee would receive, and the blow to Konoha's reputation, let Sarutobi Hiruzen worry about it. This is something that a Hokage should consider. Besides, the Hokage shouldn't have a headache for too long. Suzumiya Musashi thought thoughtfully. Musashi, I didn't expect. Okay, Brother Kai, let the medical team take over later. I still have to host the game. With that, Suzumiya Musashi returned to the competition venue. Looking at the audience waiting for explanations and Gaara on the opposite side, he simply announced the result. The winner is Gaara. Faced with this result, Gaara did not react at all. He looked at Suzumiya Musashi in front of him and said coldly, "Why?" Suzumiya Musashi frowned and said, "Why? Why to save that person? You can't stop it." "I can." Gaara's voice was full of unquestionable confidence. "He will not be able to hold on soon. He can't kill me, I will kill him." Suzumiya Musashi was silent, and after a moment he said, "I can't let you kill him. Because he is a subordinate that a person cherishes. If he is disabled, many people will be sad. Even if I hate him, it is difficult to accept this result." Gaara looked at Suzumiya Musashi quietly, and after a moment he said, "The referee can't make a move easily. You broke the rules." Suzumiya Musashi, I judge that Rock Lee has lost. He is still making moves, you broke the rules. I have declared you the winner. You broke the rules. Suzumiya Musashi, what do you want? Do something to me. Gaara didn't say anything. Suzumiya Musashi said, "If you really want to, you can attack me." As soon as the words fell, the yellow sand condensed into spikes and instantly attacked Suzumiya Musashi. Bang, bang, bang. The change happened in a flash. When someone realized that the player had attacked the referee, they only saw Suzumiya Musashi raising his right hand with a calm face. The lightning chakra like a stream of water attached to his hand, and the broken yellow sand slowly flowed down. "Do you want to continue?" Suzumiya Musashi's tone did not change. Gaara looked at him steadily for a few seconds, and then turned away with a dull look. The game continues. Chapter 130. The first time, the first time. Soon after the preliminaries ended, Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto began to look for Suzumiya Musashi everywhere. Where did the boss go? Why can't he be found anywhere? Naruto, did you look for him seriously? I looked for him seriously. Sasuke, don't blame me if you can't find him yourself. Sasuke, Naruto, what are you looking for Musashi Senpai for? Haruno Sakura, who was following Uchiha Sasuke, asked puzzledly. Of course, to learn new ninjutsu. Uzumaki Naruto said immediately. Yes, Uchiha Sasuke also said. Didn't you see the ninjutsu that Tenten performed in the competition? Haruno Sakura, I saw it, it was very powerful. Wait, you mean? That's right, Uchiha Sasuke said. Brother Musashi is Tenten's teacher. That technique must have been taught to Tenten by Brother Musashi. Hearing this, Haruno Sakura also understood why the two were so anxious. The Rasengan that almost killed Temari is indeed a very powerful technique. No wonder Sasuke and the others were so anxious to find Suzumiya Musashi. Unfortunately, Suzumiya Musashi was called away by Sarutobi Hiruzen just after the game. And they were told that during the Chunin exam, due to a shortage of manpower, the tasks of the Anbu 6 team were very heavy. In other words, they worked non-stop and did not get paid for overtime. What can Suzumiya Musashi do? After all, the old leader is leaving, so be considerate of him and work more overtime. So Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto are destined to find no one. Finally, the two disappointed people could only find Mr. Hadate Kakashi as the next best option. So Kakashi asked me to come here just to teach you. Ebisu looked at Uzumaki Naruto in front of him, his eyes full of scrutiny. Put aside the rumors that the other party was a demon fox. As an excellent teacher in Konoha, the moment he saw the other party, he could find that the other party had a temperament different from ordinary people. The temperament of a bad student. Unlike the calm, confident, and determined of a good student, the kid in front of him had yellow hair, looked dull, and looked up and down at himself as an excellent teacher in Konoha. Favorability -1. If Kakashi hadn't asked him to come here, he would not have put down the great cause of teaching the next generation of Hokage to guide a bad student. So, you are the teacher that Mr. Kakashi asked to teach me. Uzumaki Naruto looked at Ebisu with a doubtful tone. Ebisu frowned. Hey, what's that expression on your face? Don't you even have the basic respect for a Jonin? Jonin, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes were full of doubt. Really? No matter how he looked at the other person's temperament, he didn't look like one. Nonsense, could it be fake? Ebisu hid his slightly guilty mood behind his sunglasses. I am an elite teacher who has taught many excellent ninjas. A medical ninja who holds an important position in the medical class. A taijutsu ninja who holds an important position under the Hokage. Looking at Ebisu, who brags about himself, Uzumaki Naruto still feels that the other party is a little unreliable. Teacher Ebisu, have you really taught so many excellent ninjas? Are you even good at taijutsu? Ebisu adjusted his glasses, although I can't say that I am good at taijutsu, but in terms of teaching, I am a professional. Uzumaki Naruto, it doesn't look so credible. Ebisu's face turned black with anger. Uzumaki Naruto continued. The most powerful taijutsu ninja I know is the boss, who must be more powerful than the taijutsu ninja you taught. Ebisu snorted and said disdainfully, Your boss. What's his name? How powerful can he be? My boss is Suzumiya Musashi. Ebisu. 3 seconds later, Ebisu put on a warm smile again. Ahahaha. So your boss is Musashi. Why didn't you say so earlier? Uzumaki Naruto was still wondering how the other party reacted. Why did it suddenly change? Ebisu continued. Musashi was the first genin I led. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, another generation has passed. Naruto, right? Let's go. I'll take you to eat barbecue. Your chakra attributes, how well you have mastered the training of climbing trees and treading water, your favorite attack methods. Let's talk while eating, and I'll see what you need to improve. Don't worry, since Musashi is your boss, I will definitely let you improve your strength as quickly as possible before the finals of the Chunin exam. Wait a minute. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly looked not far away. What's wrong? Ebisu asked in confusion, and then followed Uzumaki Naruto's gaze. Soon, his eyes widened. On the roof of the hot spring shop not far away, a S***y big ass was twisting. It was obvious that he was peeping. How can this be? White air came out of Ebisu's nostrils, and he looked at the pervert on the roof and felt his heart raging with anger. In broad daylight, he actually peeped in Konoha. Konoha Jonin Ebisu. I will never allow such a despicable thing. Ebisu A went up. Ebisu flew back. 2 minutes later, the white-haired oily man began to dance embarrassingly in front of Uzumaki Naruto. The Toad Sage is a name that is hidden from the world. There is nothing to hide. I am one of the 3 invincible ninjas, the white-haired boy Toad Messenger, the handsome man who can even shut up a crying child, Jiraiya-sama, that's me. Uzumaki Naruto, Omega. Suzumiya Musashi is indeed very busy. With the upcoming Chunin exam finals, a large number of people from other villages are pouring into Konoha. Monitoring, eavesdropping, patrolling, guarding against assassinations. Even if some tasks can be handed over to ordinary ninjas, the Anbu class is still very busy. He hasn't been home for several days. One afternoon, he could take a break from work. Suzumiya Musashi put away the weight on his body and walked out of the Hokage building without looking back. Before he could go home, he bumped into Uchiha Izumi in a white coat. Musashi, Uchiha Izumi called Suzumiya Musashi. What? I'm in a hurry to go home. Suzumiya Musashi just wanted to go home to take a shower and have a good rest. Uchiha Izumi looked up at him, frowning slightly. My wife won't run away if I go back a little later. Suzumiya Musashi thought to himself what this had to do with his wife. But seeing Uchiha Izumi's serious look, he said, Tell me, what's the matter? You'll know if you come with me, Uchiha Izumi said, turning and walking towards Konoha Hospital. Suzumiya Musashi had to give up the idea of going home immediately and temporarily followed. After a while, Uchiha Izumi brought him to Konoha Hospital, and then signaled with his eyes. Hey, this is what I want to tell you. There was an open space in the middle of the hospital. Rock Lee was wearing a hospital gown and was still wrapped in bandages. At this moment, his body was trembling, and he sat and squatted with difficulty in the open space. Chapter 131. The wound was so severe that the wound was still there. Suzumiya Musashi frowned. Uchiha Izumi said on the side, I have reminded him, but he didn't listen. If this goes on, let alone recovery, his injuries will only get worse. Suzumiya Musashi didn't speak. I don't know what special ability you have in this technique that allows you to practice it regardless of your injuries. I am just judging from the knowledge of a medical staff. If this continues, his body will collapse. Even with the current injuries, the medical team and I are not sure that we can restore him to his previous state. Suzumiya Musashi's face became even darker. Musashi, you. Uchiha Izumi hadn't finished speaking when Suzumiya Musashi walked out. Coming to Rock Lee, the latter saw him and showed his usual passion and determination on his face. Senior Musashi, are you here to persuade me too? I will not stop practicing. Teacher Kai said that youth. Bang, a swift slap hit Rock Lee's head. Without even a chance to react, Rock Lee was knocked to the ground, and his forehead made a deep pit in the grass. After a while, Rock Lee raised his head dizzily, feeling the severe pain from his head. Just as he was about to speak, he heard the cold voice of Suzumiya Musashi. Brother Kai's things are not for you to ruin like this. Now get back on the bed, don't make me say it again. Just as Rock Lee was struggling whether to resist again, Suzumiya Musashi clenched his fists. The body's instinct sent a strong sense of crisis, which made Rock Lee's hair stand up. The instinctive alertness between physical ninjas made him feel that if he received a punch from the other party, he would die. Seeing that Suzumiya Musashi obviously didn't intend to talk nonsense with him anymore, he didn't dare to say more and said sensibly, Hey, I'll rest right away. He lay back on the bed and closed his eyes. After a while, Rock Lee's breathing became even. Uchiha Izumi couldn't help but smile bitterly as he watched all this happen in front of him. You still have a way. Suzumiya Musashi said, what's so difficult about this? For a stubborn kid like him, reason is not as convincing as a fist. Uchiha Izumi looked at Suzumiya Musashi, and a trace of curiosity flashed in his beautiful eyes. Did you practice like him at that time? How could it be? I'm not as stupid as him. I never do anything that hurts my body. Never do it. I don't know what he thought of. Uchiha Izumi retracted his gaze and looked down at his feet. Speechless for a moment. Suzumiya Musashi, what does it mean that you suddenly stopped talking? It's okay, I still have to go home. Uchiha Izumi didn't say anything, and Suzumiya Musashi was silent. He looked around boredly. Today, Uchiha Izumi was wearing a white coat for the medical class. The sun shone on her through the shade of the trees, covering her with a layer of light. Originally, when Uchiha Izumi was in school, she was the girl with the most secret crushes in the class. Whether it was grades, appearance, or temperament, they were all top-notch. It was just that because she was too outstanding and looked down on boys other than Uchiha Itachi, few people confessed to her. Now, as Uchiha Izumi grows older, he has lost his original immaturity, and his appearance has become more outstanding. With a white coat and a medical record book, the charm of intellectual elegance came out immediately. At this moment, the other person's long, clean hair naturally fell down. Part of it was on the shoulders, and part of it was gathered in front of the chest. Following the well-proportioned shoulder blade curve, there was a pleasing arc. Further down, slender, full, the rigid medical uniform could not cover the two and a small piece of white was exposed under the trouser legs. What are you looking at? Uchiha Izumi's voice suddenly came to his ears. Suzumiya Musashi's heart jumped like a convulsion. In 0.000001 seconds, he turned his head half a circle, ignoring the sound of the wind caused by the rapid turn of his head, and said nonchalantly, Ah, that tilde. Let me see the environment of the hospital. Well, it's not bad, much better than the place where we are on duty. There are flowers and grass, and the room has a big window. Uchiha Izumi looked at him expressionlessly, pulling left and right. After a while, he pouted. Okay, I saw it. You are a grown man, and you don't even dare to admit it. What did I see? Suzumiya Musashi complained. I clearly. Ming is just looking at the environment here. Look at the nice weather. The flowers are blooming more beautifully than usual. Look, there is another sneaky person on the second floor carrying a gourd. The voice faded. Uchiha Izumi still had an expression of keep talking. Go on, keep making it up, I'm listening. Suzumiya Musashi didn't say anything. He exerted force on his feet, and the next moment, his figure disappeared from the spot. In the ward, Gaara looked at Rock Lee, who was sleeping soundly on the bed, and his eyes kept twitching. He didn't know why he came here. This is obviously Konoha's hospital, and he obviously has important plans to complete. But on the day of the game, the image of Rock Lee kept flashing in his mind. Rock Lee in a changing form. Rock Lee who attacked desperately. And the Rock Lee who was rescued and cared for. The past scenes appeared in his mind: hostility, vendetta, assassination. And the image of Rock Lee being protected mixed together, making his head almost explode. He wants to destroy the other party. As for the consequences, he doesn't care. The sand began to fly under control, and just as he was staring at Rock Lee and wanted to make a move, an abrupt voice sounded from behind. What are you looking at? Gaara turns around suddenly. Gaara frowns when he sees Suzumiya Musashi. You again. Me again, what are you doing here? Are you going to attack? Gaara doesn't say anything. With a thought, the sand accelerates suddenly under control. Boom! The violent tremor makes the building seem to tremble. Many people in hospital gowns crawl out of the room, shouting in panic. What's going on? Is the ground earthquake? It's not an explosion. It's a mess outside. In the room, Rock Lee, who was sleeping soundly, was the first to be hit. The moment the loud noise came out, the whole person bounced more than half a meter high from the bed. What exploded? When the confused Rock Lee saw the situation clearly, he was a little confused. Senior Musashi, you haven't left yet. Suzumiya Musashi pointed at Gaara in front of him. I was planning to leave. When I turned around, I saw him sneaking into your room. Sneaking into my room, Rock Lee couldn't understand. Why? Who knows, maybe to steal your eyebrows. Chapter 132. The two of them were so busy that they had to fight. Suzumiya Musashi said, looking at Gaara with a cold gaze. This is the second time you have attacked me. Sagakure boy, do you have anything to explain? Facing the eager-looking Suzumiya Musashi, as well as Uchiha Izumi and the medical team who came one after another, Gaara's eyes were downcast. The muscles on his cheeks twitched slightly, and the sand swirled around him as if he was going to attack in the next moment. In his mind, Shukaku's voice continued to ring. Go. Kill him, kill him. Kill him with your sand, I will help you. Shut up, Gaara growled in his heart. The almost uncontrollable frenzy in his heart was finally suppressed at this moment. He looked at Suzumiya Musashi in front of him, feeling the faint sense of danger and Shukaku's restless noise. The yellow sand floating around him slowly converged. Fight. Why not fight? Kill him, after killing him, your sand will be stronger. Gaara ignored Shukaku's voice. If it weren't for Shukaku's instigation, he might have really taken action just now. But it was precisely because of Shukaku's abnormality that he, who had been fighting against Shukaku's consciousness for many years, gave up this plan. Soon it won't be long. When the plan starts, you will definitely be killed by me. Looking at the people in front of him with a sinister look, Gaara slowly spoke. I just came to see the Taijutsu ninja, who was defeated by me. No other plans. As he said, he ignored the others and walked towards the door. It was not until he disappeared in the room that Uchiha Izumi looked at Suzumiya Musashi. Don't you have to hand him over to the Hokage? Forget it, Suzumiya Musashi dispersed the chakra on his body. Unless he kills the other party, even if he is handed over to Sarutobi Hiruzen with the magnanimity of this Hokage, he will most likely let him go lightly. He hasn't had time to attack Zio Li yet, and now it's time to get off work. I want to go home and rest early. Before leaving, he told Uchiha Izumi, "Don't go to the Chunin exam finals. Take AI and stay in the medical class." Hearing him say this, Uchiha Izumi seemed to have realized something. "You mean?" "Just do as I say." Uchiha Izumi said no more and nodded gently. "I know, you should be careful too." Passing by Ikaraku Ramen. Ignoring Shuta's angry look, Suzumiya Musashi directly pulled I.M. back home. "What are you doing? You're in such a hurry. The store is still busy, Tilda." "I told Uncle Shuta a long time ago to hire 2 more people, but he didn't listen. The small store doesn't need so many people. Besides, it's not dark yet. Why are you in a hurry to pull me home? I've been on duty for several days in a row. I have to go home and have a good rest. I.M., if you're tired, just rest by yourself." Suzumiya Musashi, "No, I can't sleep well alone." I.M., "Nonsense. How old are you, and you still can't sleep well alone?" Suzumiya Musashi, Chinese letter, Chinese letter." Seeing the other's eyes, I.M. blushed and said no more. The two rushed home and rested until the bright moon was high. I.M. didn't know whether Suzumiya Musashi had a good rest. She only knew that she had no strength at all. "Sister." Tilda I.M. responded like a kid. "The Chunin exam finals will be held in 2 days. Remember to bring Pete with you." "But there can't be pets in the store." "Listen to me." Suzumiya Musashi no longer explained the fact that ninja dogs are not pets. He was gentle and whispered in I.M.'s ear, "There are too many people from other villages recently. I feel more at ease with Pete here." I.M. couldn't help twisting when the hot air blew, and she had no strength to answer. She set him with soup and water. "When the time comes, I'll ask Oki and Bai to come and take care of him. Although this guy has been a little decadent recently, 2 grown men, if there is any hurdle that can't be overcome, just kiss." Musashi Tilda I.M. couldn't hear the words of the person behind her. The heat in her ears made her twist unnaturally. "What's wrong?" Suzumiya Musashi stopped talking. "Whatever you say is what it is. It's time to rest now, Tilda." At this time, Suzumiya Musashi certainly knows what to do. A soft cry. "Sister, please check the results of my recent physical training and arithmetic training." The moon is as white as pulp. Beside the Nan River, night birds are chirping and spring water is flowing. The sword light faded. Mao Yue Ziyan panted lightly and put away all the weapons. "Jai Feng, let's stop here." On the other side, Yue Guangjai Feng sheathed his sword. "Ziyan, you have made great progress recently. Keep working hard. You always say nice things." Mao Yue Ziyan pouted and said, "I can never beat you." "So what?" Yue Guangjai Feng approached and stroked Mao Yue Ziyan's long hair with pity. "I have to be stronger than you to protect you." Burying her head in the other's shoulder, Mao Yue Ziyan showed happiness on her face, enjoying the rare warmth. "I miss you." Moon Guangjai Feng's body trembled slightly. "That's right. I see you less recently." When Mao Yue Ziyan heard this, she immediately complained, "That's right. Although there are a lot of things to do during the Chunin exams, there is no need to not let us rest for several days. I don't know what the Hokage thinks. Recently, Team 6 has more tasks than other classes. Fortunately, you have more tasks." Moonlight Gale couldn't help thinking. Mao Yue Ziyan continued, "After the Chunin exams are over, we must have a good rest for a while." As she said, she raised her head and stretched out her hand. The slender white fingers stroked Moonlight Gale's cheek like playing with a toy. "When the time comes, you have to accompany me well." Moonlight Gale's body shook twice again. Looking at the other person's appearance, Mao Yue Ziyan smiled charmingly. "Don't worry, wait until I'm done with this period. You don't have to work hard today." Hearing this, Moonlight Gale breathed a sigh of relief. During the Chunin exam, he had many tasks. Because of the special nature of his own abilities, many tasks that others could not perform had to be assigned to him. However, his girlfriend Yuzuki Yuga was too greedy. If the other party continued to demand and exploit him like before, he was really afraid that he would fall asleep during the task. "Don't worry, Ziyan. When I'm done with this, I'll definitely accompany you." Yuzuki Ziyan, Well, you're smart. It's just that the Hokage has assigned me a new task in the next few days, so I can't accompany you at night again. What task? Is it dangerous? Moonlight Gale pondered for a moment. It's somewhat dangerous. The Hokage has discovered that there are subordinates who are suspected to be Orochimaru among the reference personnel. Yuzuki Zian worriedly said, "Then you." "I must go," Moonlight Gale said in a deep voice. "No matter how dangerous the task is, someone has to do it. No one is more suitable for exploring information than my transparent release." Yuzuki Zian couldn't persuade her anymore. She knew that no matter what she said, she couldn't change Moonlight Gale's decision. "Oh, right." Mao Yue Ziyan suddenly remembered something and said, "I'll give you one of my signals. If you encounter danger during the mission, remember to send a signal." The people in Class 6 saw it, and everyone will help. The people in Class 6 will help? Why? Moonlight Gale was a little puzzled. Besides, this is against the rules. What rules are there at this time? Mao Yue Ziyan gave her signal to Moonlight Gale without hesitation. Class 6 is different from other classes. We have a good relationship in Class 6. If you need help, everyone will not turn a blind eye. Moonlight Gale could only accept the other party's kindness. Speaking of which, the current atmosphere of your Class 6 is really different from that of other people in the Anbu. Mao Yue Ziyan said, "This is all after Musashi came." Musashi? Suzumiya Musashi. Moonlight Gale muttered the name, thinking about the other party's information in his heart. "Well, he's a very good and reliable person." Mao Yue Ziyan said, "Let's not talk about him for now. Although I can let you go tonight, you have to give me something else." "No, anything else." Yue Guangjai Feng was startled, and the next moment, Mao Yue Ziyan's rosy lips gradually approached. Chapter 133. The scene of the Chunin exam was a few days later. Red flags were flying, and there were huge crowds of people. Although there are 2 Chunin exams every year, this time is different. The Hokage, the Keisuke, the daimyo lords who came from afar, all came to boost Konoha's GDP. This is a rare, lively scene in Konoha in recent years. For the safety of the game, the referees of the finals were increased to 2 people. In addition to Suzumiya Musashi, there was one more Shiranui Genma. As the guests took their seats one after another, the Chunin exam finals officially began. Compared with before, Suzumiya Musashi's task was a little easier. With one more referee, he could be lazy at the right time. As for the daimyo lords on the stage, he didn't care. He won't raise his salary. After the game started, he was basically in a half-fishing state. He would only be serious when the players on the stage were of high level. After a while, it was Hyuga Neji's turn to fight Uzumaki Naruto. Hyuga Neji, who succumbed to fate but was unwilling to do so, and Uzumaki Naruto, who didn't believe in fate but was always arranged by fate, the 2 of them started fighting fiercely. When the fierce battle couldn't satisfy the 2, the trash talk session began. "Hyuga Neji, what do you know? %% fate, %# failure, %% fate." Uzumaki Naruto, shut up, %, Hinata % and Hokage and, lonely, Hokage and. There is no such thing as fate. Let the fate that cannot be changed be what it is. No matter what you say, when I become Hokage, I will change the fate of your Hyuga clan. Hearing this, Suzumiya Musashi couldn't listen anymore. A person who was secretly cheated by fate, a genius unlucky guy in CPU. That's ridiculous. Naruto, fight if you want. Now is not the time to run for Hokage. When you are here, Neji, don't trust the opposition party. It's the same after you come to power. Fight if you can, and admit defeat if you can't. The people behind are still queuing. Don't waste time. Uzumaki Naruto was helpless, and Hyuga Neji also shut up. The battle became fierce again. "Hinata, you are injured. Why do you still come? Stay at home and recover." In the stands, Uzumaki Karin looked at Hyuga Hinata, who came to watch the game before her injury healed, and couldn't help saying, Naruto-kun is in the game, my injury won't delay me." Hyuga Hinata responded hesitantly. Tusk. Uzumaki Karin looked at Hyuga Hinata meaningfully. "A little girl who is secretly in love Tilda." "Oh, Tilda you. What are you talking about?" Tilda Hinata said embarrassedly. "Why are you shy? It's not shameful to have a boy you like, Uzumaki Karin said, and Minato approached Hinata. When are you going to confess? Hyuga Hinata's face began to turn red. Although I don't know what you like about Naruto, but for a guy like Naruto, he won't know if you don't tell him. He's very stupid. Naruto-kun is not stupid, Hyuga Hinata retorted weakly. Okay, he's not stupid, he's the best. Uzumaki Karin agreed without sincerity. Her game is over. In the preliminaries, the opponent was very weak and was defeated in a few moves. As a result, the opponent in the finals was very strong. Suzumiya Musashi told her not to use the sealing technique casually, so after losing a game, she came to the audience. At this moment, her mind is on eating melons. Hinata, tell me what you like about Naruto. Hinata Hyuga didn't answer. If you satisfy my curiosity, I can help you chase Naruto till the Uzumaki Karin tempted. I'm with my brother, and I know a lot about Naruto. Hinata Hyuga was stunned. Then she raised her red face, turned her head, and held Uzumaki Karin's hands with both hands. Karin, I'll tell you everything. But you have to keep your word. Uzumaki Karin's eyes lit up, and she only regretted that she didn't have a handful of melon seeds in her hand. Hurry up, tell me. I promise to tell you all the news about Naruto. Hinata Hyuga began to recall that was a romantic winter day. After a while, Hinata Hyuga, who had just talked about the beautiful encounter, suddenly stopped. Keep going, why did you stop? Uzumaki Karin, who was eating melons enthusiastically, urged. Wait a minute, Karin. Hyuga Hinata stared at the arena, and Uzumaki Karin also looked at the arena. Towards the field. At this moment, Uzumaki Naruto's momentum changed greatly on the field. His facial features gradually became fierce and beast-like, and the strong and ominous orange-red chakra roared. The hard ground was swept by the chakra, leaving deep grooves. What is this? What a terrifying chakra. What's going on? The audience who didn't know the truth began to discuss. Suzumiya Musashi stared at Uzumaki Naruto with a serious look, and the chakra in his body was secretly on guard. As Uzumaki Naruto grew up, the nine tails in his body began to supply chakra to the opponent through opportunities, trying to catalyze Naruto's hatred and emotions through his own chakra. Of course, the idea is good, but the effect is unknown. Anyway, there are only 0 and countless times of giving for free. Giving for a while, you will get used to it. At this moment, Naruto has gradually begun to use the chakra of the nine tails. As the emotional fluctuations become more severe, the output of chakra will also be stronger. Suzumiya Musashi had no intention of stopping it, but was secretly careful. If Uzumaki Naruto showed signs of losing control, he would use the sealing technique to suppress the nine tails. Fortunately, this situation did not happen. A few minutes later, under the excited eyes of the eldest lady of the Hyuga family, Hyuga Neji lost to Uzumaki Naruto. Watching Hyuga Neji, whose mind was unstable, being carried off the field, the game continued. Gaara, fight against Uchiha Sasuke. Chapter 134. The first time. Did you recognize that girl just now? A ninja from the Kusagakure asked his companions in the corridor of the stadium. Not sure, one person answered. Although they both have red hair, it's hard to tell. It's okay. The leading Kusagakure looked at Uzumaki Karin in the audience with a sinister look from afar. Write down her appearance and report it back. Such things will naturally be confirmed by the top management. A few years ago, the little thing of the Uzumaki clan was kidnapped, and the top management was very annoyed for a while. If it was really her, the top management would definitely reward us. As he was talking, Gaara, carrying a gourd on his back, walked into the corridor. Several Kusagakure ninjas looked at each other and quickly greeted her. Hey, the kid from Sand Village. I have something to tell you. You have to listen carefully. Someone important has placed a bet on the Uchiha kid to win. If you don't want to die, you know what to do. Gaara looked at the several shouting Kusagakure ninjas in front of him. As if he had discovered something interesting, a strange and excited smile appeared on his face. Just when the Kusagakure ninjas couldn't stand his attitude and were about to step forward, yellow sand suddenly gushed out of the gourd behind him. A few screams were covered in the yellow sand, and a moment later, Gaara walked into the arena. Only a few traces of blood remained in the corridor. Suzumiya Musashi saw the whole scene, but he didn't say anything. Even looking at Gaara's murderous look, he suddenly felt that the other party was a lot more pleasing to the eye. I was going to warn you once, but since you're quite quick, I'll let it go this time. After Gaara arrived, Uchiha Sasuke was still not here, and Shiranui Genma shouted loudly. Uchiha Sasuke, are you here? Uchiha Sasuke tilde. Just when Shiranui Genma was a little anxious, and even wanted to ask the Hokage for instructions, Hadate Kakashi made a brilliant appearance with Uchiha Sasuke. The same arrogant temperament and the same cool expression. With his hands in his pockets, his eyes were arrogant. It seemed that no one in the entire arena could be their opponent. Shiranui Genma was shocked by such momentum. Tilde finally here, since you are here. Uchiha Sasuke is late, I warn you once, Suzumiya Musashi suddenly said. If you are late, you are late. Why are you pretending tilde? Uchiha Sasuke, sigma degrees. Shiranui Genma. He looked at Suzumiya Musashi with some doubts and asked in a low voice. Musashi, do we referees still have the right to warn? I don't know, Suzumiya Musashi said. It's okay, they don't know anyway. Shiranui Genma, not sign. As the players arrived, the game officially began. In the audience, everyone was in high spirits. The two people were able to reach the finals, and their impressive strength was already known to everyone. One is a non-mainstream evil spirit. The other is a cold and abstinent handsome guy. One is the son of the Wind Shadow, and the other is the last descendant of the Uchiha. Even the high-ranking officials and nobles were very interested in this battle. Suzumiya Musashi was also watching seriously. In his memory, the original Uchiha Sasuke was beaten by Rock Lee when he appeared, but soon, the opponent's speed and fighting level caught up. He was very curious about what Hadate Kakashi taught that could make Uchiha Sasuke's strength improve so quickly. As the battle unfolded, he stared at Uchiha Sasuke with full concentration, and after a long time, he finally saw some signs. The opponent's fighting style is very similar to Hadate Kakashi. Flash, punches, kicks, and physical skills competition. Some moves and techniques are exactly the same as when Hadate Kakashi attacked. The Hadate family's means. Suzumiya Musashi secretly guessed. Hadate Kakashi's strength level is needless to say. His father Hadate Sakumo, the famous Konoha White Fang, is famous in the ninja world for his super swordsmanship. Absolute cage-level combat power, even wearing a Hokage half-sleeve at his peak. And being able to practice swordsmanship to such a level, his own physical skills and close combat methods will naturally not be bad. If Uchiha Sasuke can be taught, it is understandable that his strength will improve quickly. The vision advantage of the Sharingan can maximize such means. After feeling that his guess was probably correct, Suzumiya Musashi lost interest in the subsequent competition. He didn't even care about Uchiha Sasuke using Chidori with the Sharingan. His attention was on the ninjas on duty around him. As the match continued, at a certain moment, feathers began to fall from the sky above the stadium. When the illusion was activated, a large number of spectators and nobles fainted. Here it comes. Ordinary people and genin had no power to resist the large-scale illusion, but it was not difficult for powerful ninjas. Almost at the moment when the illusion was activated, the Anbu, Hadate Kakashi, Might Guy, and others found something wrong. Resolve. Boom, 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 tilde. There were explosions in the distance. On the Hokage stand, the Wind Shadow moved at the same time and approached Saruto by Hiruzen in an instant. The plan to destroy Konoha officially began. Kakashi, what's going on? Might Guy shouted in a panic. If it was a normal mission, he would not panic. But this sudden change made him completely confused and subconsciously asked his most trusted friend. I don't know, Hadate Kakashi shook his head. Maybe someone from the Anbu might know, but I've been away from the Anbu for a long time. Might Guy subconsciously looked at Suzumiya Musashi. Musashi is from the Anbu, maybe. Might Guy stop talking halfway? He suddenly felt that even if Musashi was in the Anbu, he wouldn't know this news. Soon, Sarutobi Hiruzen was kidnapped aside. As the guard ninja was seriously injured by the enemy used the 4 purple flame formation. A solid barrier rose, and Sarutobi Hiruzen was trapped in it. Hokage-sama is in danger. Might Guy's face changed, and he was about to step forward to rescue him. Suzumiya Musashi flashed over and blocked his way with Hadate Kakashi. Kakashi Musashi, you. Hadate Kakashi, Kai, don't go over. Suzumiya Musashi, brother Kai, at this time, deal with other enemies first. Otherwise, many people will die. Might Guy hesitated for a moment. Soon, as the K's shadow in the nodule took off his disguise, Orochimaru's figure was exposed, and Might Guy no longer hesitated and turned to deal with other enemies. The third Hokage should be able to deal with his own disciples. There are many people who think the same as Suzumiya Musashi. When Sarutobi Hiruzen was trapped by the barrier, the heads and masters of the various ninja clans thought for a moment and chose to deal with other enemies and rescue the people. Where Konoha flies, the fire will also continue. As ninjas who have a thorough understanding of the will of fire, they naturally know what is most important. I believe that if the Hokage knew that everyone was actively rescuing the people, he would be very pleased. Boom tilde. Boom tilde. Boom tilde. Fire was everywhere. The Konoha ninjas, who were still able to fight, fought with the enemy. Go protect the daimyo. A ninja from the Anbu gave orders, but Suzumiya Musashi pretended not to hear them. He even ignored the fact that Gaara was taken away by the Sand Village people. If he fought the tailed beast in the village, more people would die. He began to deal with the ninjas, who were sabotaging privately. Why don't you protect the daimyo? An unfamiliar ANBU wearing a mask questioned Suzumiya Musashi. Suzumiya Musashi responded with just a punch. Bang, tilde. After knocking the other party far away, Suzumiya Musashi spat. Protect the daimyo. You don't look like a Konoha, you're probably a spy. Chapter 135. The enemy was in a state of panic, and the enemy was in a state of panic. He didn't care about the other party's situation and continued to face other enemies. Bang, 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 tilde. He exerted his speed to the fastest. Under the stimulation of the lightning chakra, the whole person was like a flash of lightning. Few enemies could last a few moves under him. Whether it was illusion or ninjutsu, no matter how fancy the means were, as long as the power was not enough to hurt him, he would break it with one punch. After solving the enemy in front of him, and the remaining part of the others were enough to deal with, Suzumiya Musashi quickly left the place. In the distance, there were more enemies, wreaking havoc in Konoha. Suzumiya Musashi began to search for enemies everywhere, and when he met them, he punched and kicked them without saying a word. Bang 15 bang bang, 16 boom, tilde 19. After dealing with a wave of enemies, Suzumiya Musashi turned his head and looked at the periphery of Konoha. A vibration sound came from afar. The huge three-headed snake roared and raged, and wherever it passed, ninjas dodged and walls and houses collapsed. The genin who had no time to dodge was crushed and died. It's you. Suzumiya Musashi started running. The speed was getting faster and faster, and when he approached the giant snake, he shouted, "Get out of the way, tilde." The ninjas who were blocking looked up suddenly. When they saw a beam of lightning approaching rapidly, the sharp-eyed ninjas quickly got out of the way. The lightning roared and collided with the giant snake that was constantly advancing. Boom, tilde. Accompanied by a loud bang, the momentum of the three-headed snake's advance suddenly stopped. The head in the front of the middle was hit hard, and it instantly rose back, pulling the huge body back a little, and then fell again. Bang, the snake head fell to the ground, and the building below collapsed instantly. So strong, a ninja exclaimed. It actually blocked this monster with one strike. Ignoring the reactions of the ninjas, Suzumiya Musashi looked at the three-headed giant snake. The snake head that had just fallen moved, and slowly raised up amid the hissing of the other two heads. In the middle of the snake head, A wound as sunken as a big pit gushed out blood. The scales are harder than I thought, Suzumiya Musashi said to himself. He looked at the Konoha ninjas standing around and said loudly, "Go and deal with other enemies, I'll deal with this guy." Even for him, it would take some effort to deal with the giant snake in front of him. Facing such a huge monster, ordinary ninjas can't deal with it at all. It's better to deal with other enemies than to stay here. The surrounding ninjas looked at each other, knowing that it was useless for them to stay, and quickly evacuated to find other enemies. "Be careful." "Musashi Jonin, thank you." Suzumiya Musashi nodded gently, watching the giant snake in front of him start to move again. A large amount of Yang release chakra and lightning release chakra began to cover the whole body. When facing a giant target, the means of a ninja are very limited. Ordinary Chunin and Genin, needless to say, even detonating tags are ineffective. Few Jonin have the skills to fight against giant beasts. Even if the power of small-scale ninjutsu can break the defense, it can only be regarded as a superficial injury to the giant beast that can move tens of meters. High-power ninjutsu often lacks concentrated destructiveness. Water burst, water dragon bomb, large-scale fire release, etc. may be able to block, but it is difficult to cause fatal injuries. To achieve a fatal degree, it needs the power of cage level. Similar to Jiraiya's Toad oil flame bomb, Uchiha Madara's great fire extinguishing. Suzumiya Musashi didn't master it. Wind-style shuriken might work, but this technique is too difficult. Even now, he hasn't mastered it to the extent of releasing it without injury. This is why, when summoned beasts fight, ninjas usually use summoned beasts to deal with it. The size difference is too big. Looking at the three-headed giant snake in front of him, Suzumiya Musashi's mood to develop powerful ninjutsu became more urgent. Wait until the matter is over, and the research with Bai has to speed up. Seeing the giant snake getting closer and closer, Suzumiya Musashi threw away distracting thoughts, and the chakra on his body instantly condensed. The ground under his feet exploded, and the whole person disappeared instantly. A line of lightning. A trace of human fear flashed in the giant snake's eyes, and looking at Suzumiya Musashi's rapid figure, his head subconsciously dodged to the side. Its speed is not slow, but Suzumiya Musashi is too fast. Bang! The giant snake's neck was hit hard, and its scales shattered as its neck suddenly tilted. Before it could react, the lightning used the force of the impact too. The path disappeared again, and when it appeared again, it was already on top of another snake head. Boom! Boom, 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 boom. Tilde. Compared to its huge body, Suzumiya Musashi was as small as a sesame seed on the giant python. But this tiny figure flashed rapidly on its body, and every collision was accompanied by a huge roar. As if it was nailed by tiny nails, scales flew across, and blood pits became more and more. The three giant snakes hissed in pain. One of the heads seized the opportunity and spit out a large amount of saliva and mucus at itself with a puff. Sound. Suzumiya Musashi did not dare to take it head-on and dodged instantly. Wait until the mucus dissipated, and then start attacking again. Boom, 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 boom. Tilde. The anger and the severe pain from the body made the giant snake howl, and then the body began to roll on the spot. The huge body caused a huge vibration, and the houses and the ground were broken, splashing dust and smoke. The ninjas in the distance looked at the movement caused by the giant snake rolling, and couldn't help but be secretly shocked. This momentum, it's amazing. Is the strength of Musashi Jonin so strong? I didn't feel so powerful when I was on a mission together. But with such a companion, I feel a lot more at ease. The dust was too heavy, and Suzumiya Musashi covered his mouth and nose and temporarily stepped back. F***K. It is said that you should hit the snake at 7 inches. This is more than 700 inches. Suzumiya Musashi wished he had a big sword like Wentai in his hand. In this way, he wouldn't have to worry about the small range of his physical attack. After dozens of breaths, the dust gradually dissipated. The giant snake struggled to get up, with huge wounds all over its body, and blood gushed out, flowing down its body to the ground, mixing with the dust into a large piece of blood mud. Among the raised heads, one snake head drooped slightly, and one snake head had an eye blown out, and the whole snake was in a mess. The remaining eyes stared at Suzumiya Musashi, with fear in their shock and anger. Suzumiya Musashi took a deep breath, smoothed the chakra in his body, and then moved again. The speed was getting faster and faster. He was going to temporarily suppress the opponent through high speed and powerful attacks as before, then try to see if the fire escape could solve the opponent. Lightning flashed, and in front of the huge giant snake, it was like a bright, thin line approaching rapidly. A trace of tyranny flashed in the eyes of the three-headed giant snake. Then the three heads swayed, and the mucus-like water flow gushed out again. Puff! Hualala! It seemed as if a heavy mucus rain had fallen from the sky. The huge coverage made it difficult for Suzumiya Musashi to dodge, so he simply used the lightning armor to its full strength and planned to withstand it. Bang tilde! The water curtain broke. Suzumiya Musashi approached with a fierce momentum. The remaining eyes of the giant snake looked at him steadily, with a human mockery in his eyes. The next moment, a bang tilde sounded. It disappeared. Disappeared. Lost. Lost. Boom tilde. Suzumiya Musashi couldn't stop in time, and the whole person plunged into the ruins. After a moment, his figure broke out of the ground. Thinking of the last look of the giant snake, the more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Suzumiya Musashi, don't let me see you again. Chapter 136. After the three-headed giant snake released its summons and fled, Suzumiya Musashi began to search for other enemies. Just as he was dealing with them one by one, he suddenly saw two figures. Tent and Ningsai. Why are you here? In the third round of the Chunin exam, Tent and Hyuga Ningsai were injured in the preliminaries and finals. At this moment, they should be lying in the hospital in a neat group like Rock Lee. At this moment, Tent and Hyuga Ningsai still had bandages on their bodies and looked anxious. Old teacher Hinata was kidnapped, Tenten said breathlessly. Slow down, why was Hinata kidnapped again? And why did you two chase her out? Hyuga Neji explained. The elder told me that people from Sand Village and Sound Village suddenly attacked the competition site, and Miss Hinata was kidnapped by Kumagakure. He asked me to bring Miss Hinata back. Suzumiya Musashi frowned. You mean, the elder of Hyuga found that Hinata was kidnapped, and went to the hospital to find you and asked you to rescue her? Hyuga Neji said, yes. Suzumiya Musashi suddenly felt disgusted with the Hyuga family. Is it unsolvable, or are you planning to abandon the branch family again? He was not sure. He didn't care about the Hyuga family's mess, even Hyuga Neji. But he cared about Tianshin. Seeing his little apprentice follow Hyuga Neji despite his injuries, he couldn't help but get angry in his heart. Do you really think there are no adults in the family? Ningji, find out where Hinata is now. I'll take care of the rest. Hyuga Neji was stunned for a moment. Tenten urged from the side, hurry up, Neji, with the teacher here, everything will be easy. Hyuga Neji suddenly felt a strange feeling in his heart. He had never felt this way before. From childhood to adulthood, he was instilled with the concepts imposed by others in the Hyuga family. To protect the main family and Miss Hinata. When necessary, he must sacrifice himself without hesitation. Just like his father. Even if he is the most talented person in the Hyuga clan today, the family has never cared about him or given him too much preferential treatment. Bagua 64 Palms is not allowed to be learned and needs to be understood by oneself. When he was a child, only his father taught him, but when he grew up, he had to serve as a sparring partner for Hyuga Hinata. Being needed and used. He never thought that one day, someone would stand in front of him and tell him, just leave it to me. After calming down, Hyuga Neji jumped to a high place and mobilized his chakra. Byakugan, open. He used all his strength to activate the Byakugan and quickly aimed in a direction. Over there, two people are taking Hinata and are about to leave the edge of the village. Wait, there seems to be another person chasing them. Hearing this, Suzumiya Musashi quickly moved. He pulled Tenten over and clamped her under his armpit, and then came to where Hyuga Neji was standing, and did the same to the confused Hyuga human navigator ninja. With force on his feet, the three of them disappeared instantly. So fast, Hyuga Neji closed his eyes. There was no way. Suzumiya Musashi was too fast, and the strong wind blowing in his face made his cheeks hurt slightly, and he couldn't open his eyes at all. Opposite him, Ten also closed his eyes. The strong wind blew on his cheeks and kept flapping. Master Lulu, slow down, Lulu. Suzumiya Musashi sympathized with his little apprentice. He quickened his pace. Swoosh! Wherever the figure passed, the strong wind blew up a cloud of dust. After a moment, Suzumiya Musashi had seen the two figures who kidnapped Hinata. He also saw who was chasing after Kumagakure. You two, put Hinata down for me. Despicable Kumagakure ninja, if you have the guts, fight me. Oza! Uzumaki Karen shouted as she chased after him. At the competition, she was careless and fell into an illusion. When she came to her senses, Hinata was gone. But soon, she found Hinata's location, with the help of the Uzumaki clan's Kagura's Heart Eye. Unfortunately, finding is one thing and being able to stop is another. The two Kumagakure ninjas who kidnapped Hinata were at least Chunin in strength. With her speed, she couldn't catch up with them for a while. If she delays for a while, the enemy will run out of Konoha. F***K. Eggs, you two stinky bastards. If you have the guts, fight me squarely. Front. The two Kumagakure looked grim. Someone raided Konoha. This was a rare opportunity, and taking Byakugan was a spur-of-the-moment decision for the two of them. Unexpectedly, there was a tale that couldn't be shaken off. The man carrying Hyuga Hinata thought for a moment and said to the other, "You go and take care of her. Meet at the agreed place." The other man said without hesitation, "Got it." After that, he stopped and turned to face Uzumaki Karen, who was chasing him. "Since you want to die, you can't blame others. I'll help you." A grim smile appeared on Kumagakure's face. Looking at the red-haired girl getting closer and closer, he stretched out his right hand and began to condense the lightning chakra. Uzumaki Karen was not happy to see the enemy stop, because the enemy only left one person. It was obvious that the enemy only left one person to deal with her, and the other person took Hinata away. Moreover, looking at the lightning chakra condensed by Kumagakure in front of her, she could sense that the opponent's strength would not be weak. Can't be held back by him, otherwise Hinata will be in danger. Uzumaki Karen thought about the means she had mastered. After a while, she had an idea. As she got closer and closer to the enemy, Uzumaki Karen reached out and took out the scroll from the ninja tool bag. Amid the enemy's grim smile, she quickly unfolded the scroll, and then placed her right hand on the sealing technique of the scroll and operated the chakra. Release. Lightning release ray snake. The cloud-hidden ninja's eyes were fierce, as if he saw the girl about to be electrocuted into charcoal. But with the action of Uzumaki Karen, a large area of black flames filled his sight. Ah, a shrill scream came out. Even the lightning formed by the thunder release ninjutsu began to burn and dissipate under the flames. The cloud-hidden ninja lasted less than 3 seconds before he was silent. "The scroll my brother gave me is really useful." Uzumaki Karen muttered to herself, put away the used scroll, and was about to chase the remaining enemies. He stopped not far away. "Brother." And Tenten Neji. At this moment, Hyuga Neji helped Hyuga Hinata to sit aside. The cloud-hidden ninja who was kicked over by Suzumiya Musashi was still struggling and shouting. "Let me go. Damn it. Do you know who I am? People from Konoha, let me go." Bang! Suzumiya Musashi kicked the opponent in the abdomen. The ninja from Kumagakure arched his body like a cooked prawn and vomited blood. After a long while, he had the strength to speak again. "Damn it, ninja from Konoha, you will regret it. I am not an ordinary ninja." Suzumiya Musashi looked at the other party with a smile and said, "I heard that the ninjas from Kumagakure all worship power. From the looks of you, you don't deserve the name. Tell me, who are you? How extraordinary are you?" "I am Chimoi." Chimoi, Suzumiya Musashi thought for a while. I haven't heard of it. But looking at your arrogant look, maybe you have some background. Kimai looked grim and wanted to say something else, but Suzumiya Musashi formed seals with both hands and then placed one hand on Kimai's chest and abdomen. As the runes of the sealing technique quickly covered Kimai's body, the opponent's chakra was also completely blocked. Karin, take them back first. Keep an eye on this person, I still need him. Got it, Uzumaki Karin responded. When Suzumiya Musashi left, and Uzumaki Karin was about to go back, Tenten suddenly came over. Karin, what method did you just use? So powerful. Chapter 137. The two of them were in a state of panic. When Suzumiya Musashi went to look for Uzumaki Naruto, inside the four purple flame array barrier, Orochimaru, who respected his teacher, reborn the first and second Hokage through the impure world reincarnation, and advised Sarutobi Hiruzen to decide on the fifth Hokage as soon as possible. But he was summoned by Sarutobi Hiruzen to perform the Shikigami Fengjin. When the frivolous soul was pulled out by the death god, Orochimaru was finally afraid. Your ambition ends here. Sarutobi Hiruzen used up his last strength, looking at his most proud disciple in front of him, his old face sad and resolute. You indulge in ninjutsu and waste ninjutsu. I will punish you appropriately and take away all your ninjutsu. What did you say? Orochimaru shouted in horror. Stop. You old man in your twilight years. The god of death swung his sword, and the seal was completed. Life quickly drained away from Sarutobi Hiruzen's body. Orochimaru in front of him gradually blurred. The sound of the curse could not be heard clearly. Pictures flashed before his eyes. Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to see the appearance of Orochimaru when he was young. Calm, rational, and gifted. At the beginning, I was soft-hearted and let Orochimaru go. Many years have passed. Because of my weakness, Konoha will usher in the current situation. Sarutobi Hiruzen began to fall to the ground. He turned his eyes and vaguely saw the prosperous village that he was once proud of. But now there was smoke and dust everywhere, and all the walls were in ruins. Maybe what Danzo said makes sense. Sometimes I am too weak. Such a thought emerged in Sarutobi Hiruzen's mind. From the time he fought with Orochimaru until he performed the Shiki Fujin, the four purple flame formations stood still, and even the confidants of the Anbu did not try to break the barrier. Hyuga, Inoshikacho, Hadake, Uchiha. No masters from any clan came to save him. Yes, White Fang is dead and Uchiha is gone too. What kind of future will Konoha usher in? Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know. Maybe dying like this is the best ending for me. The past flashed back in his mind. The end of Uchiha caused by indulging Danzo, the peace gained by swallowing humiliation, the fall of Konoha White Fang. The picture was frozen many years ago, at the moment of life and death, under the hesitation of his companions, in front of Senju Tabarama, a familiar young man raised his head firmly. I'll do it. I'm old, if I could go back, to the beginning. Withered leaves falling. The chaos finally subsided. With Orochimaru's defeat, Shukaku was dealt with by Uzumaki Naruto, the summoned giant toad, and the remaining people could no longer stir up any waves. Under the joint efforts of the masters of various tribes in Konoha, they knew they had no chance of winning and retreated one after another. Some people were grieving for the death of Sarutobi Hiruzen, while others were quietly cleaning up the mess. Suzumiya Musashi took the injured Uzumaki Naruto home. Boss, was I handsome just now? Uzumaki Naruto lay on Suzumiya Musashi's back, and even though he was in pain all over his body, he still couldn't stop being proud. Handsome, Suzumiya Musashi praised generously. A big guy like Shukaku is hard for me to deal with. Naruto, you've made great progress. Hearing the boss's straightforward praise, Uzumaki Naruto was so happy that he laughed foolishly. No, it's all thanks to the lecherous sage. If he hadn't taught me the art of summoning, I wouldn't have been able to beat him without Wentai's help. Although, I'm also doing well to get the recognition of Wentai Tilde. Suzumiya Musashi listened to Uzumaki Naruto's humility with a smile. His praise was not false. Uzumaki Naruto was able to take off in the later period, mainly relying on three things. The first is the inheritance of Ashura and the Sage of the Six Paths, given by blood. The second is the Nine Tails, given by his parents. The third is the help of Mayaboku Mountain, given by his master. It is not easy for him to deal with the tailed beasts that are huge and not even afraid of their bodies being broken. Uzumaki Naruto can summon Gamma Buntai to deal with Gaara and Shukaku. Such performance is more than excellent. Didn't he see Uchiha Sasuke behind him? His face was already very dark. The turmoil had just ended, and the Konoha hospital was overcrowded. Suzumiya Musashi carried Uzumaki Naruto home directly. Fortunately, the area near the house was not destroyed and was just on the edge of chaos. Just when he arrived at the door of his house and hadn't entered the door, Suzumiya Musashi stopped. Ningji, I'm asking you a question. Hinata. How is it? A majestic questioning voice sounded. At the door of Suzumiya Musashi's house, an old man with white eyes stood there and spoke coldly, followed by a tall Kumagakure ninja. Across the street, Uzumaki Karin and Hyuga Neji blocked the door and prevented the other party from entering. Grand Elder, Miss Hinata was just a little frightened, nothing serious. Hyuga Neji said. It's good that Hinata is okay. The Hyuga Grand Elder changed the subject. Where are the others? Hyuga Neji, what other people? The Grand Elder glanced at the Kumagakure ninja next to him and then said, the people of Kumagakure. Hyuga Neji kept silent. Uzumaki Karin said on the side. One died, and there was another arrogant one who was tied up. The Grand Elder was angry. Ningji, you are too reckless. What are you yelling? Uzumaki Karin said dissatisfiedly. Are you here to find Hinata or to call for justice? The elder looked at Uzumaki Karin coldly. He was not interested in saying anything more to the uneducated wild girl and turned to Hyuga Neji and continued. Let the person out. Hyuga Neji hurriedly said, Elder, that is the enemy who kidnapped Hinata. Let the person out, the elder interrupted harshly. Uzumaki Karin rolled up her sleeves. You are. What are you barking about? A cold voice sounded from behind. The elder and the Kumagakure ninja turned around and met Suzumiya Musashi's dissatisfied eyes. I'm with Hinata. I don't care what you're barking about. Suzumiya Musashi said unceremoniously, This is my doorstep. Nothing else, please stay away. Uzumaki Karin ran to him, hugged one of his arms and complained. This stinky old man, he came to trouble us while you were away. Suzumiya Musashi put Uzumaki Naruto down, handed him to Uchiha Sasuke beside him, and came to the front of the Hyuga elder. Looking at the spotless and decent clothes of the other party, Konoha had just experienced turmoil, he said. If you are here to find Hinata, you can take Hinata back. Then leave here. The elder's eyes were angry. As the elder of the Hyuga clan, a major clan in Konoha, everyone who enters and leaves Konoha is respectful. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't dare to talk to him like this. Arrogant young man, do you think the person standing in front of you is? I don't care who you are, do you have the courage to do it? Suzumiya Musashi's eyes were sharp. Being stared at by the other party, the elder's hair stood on end instantly, and an inexplicable fear emerged in his heart. Chapter 138. The two of them were very close. I am the great elder of the Hyuga clan. Young man, think carefully before you speak. This is our internal Hyuga business. Suzumiya Musashi snorted. Hyuga clan. The eldest daughter of Hyuga was abducted, and I rescued her. Is this the attitude of the Hyuga clan towards those who help you? Did you do it? Killed Kumagakure, the great elder said angrily. That's right. Suzumiya Musashi carefully admired the great elder's expression. You look very unhappy. The great elder did not speak, panting heavily. After a while, he finally calmed down and said in a deep voice, as if announcing his decision, hand over the remaining Kumagakure. Facing the old man's request, Suzumiya Musashi was also very polite. Get lost. The elder's face flushed instantly. For many years, no one has dared to speak to him like this. Chakra ran away uncontrollably, and with veins on both sides of his cheeks bulging, his white eyes opened instantly. Hyuga Neji's face changed drastically. Before he could speak out to stop him, Suzumiya Musashi made a move. Bend the body, straight punch. After thousands of years of practice, simple attacks have become his instinct. While punching, chakra attached to the arm, so fast that no one present could react. The elder was the same. Bang! Boom! Tilde. A residual image, two loud noises. When everyone came to their senses, the elder who was so arrogant just now had smashed a deep pit in the ground. Uzumaki Karin and others who knew Suzumiya Musashi were not surprised, but Hyuga Neji suddenly widened his eyes. In the past, the great elder who was domineering in the clan and ordinary people rarely looked at him, was punched into the ground. Has Senior Musashi always been so brave? He wanted to step forward to care about the great elder's situation, but his feet did not move. In his heart, a feeling of comfort that he had never experienced before surged out. So cool. There was a moment of silence in the field. Just when a few little guys were worried that the other party would be killed by a punch, the great elder struggled and slowly got up from the pit. The originally decent clothes were now full of cracks and dust, and the meticulously groomed hairstyle was also dirty and messy. He stared at Suzumiya Musashi, his tone more fierce than ever. Damn it! I am the great elder of the Hyuga clan. Suzumiya Musashi was tired of listening. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you act arrogantly in Hyuga. But this is my home, you are nothing here. The rotten old man should hide in the coffin of Hyuga and don't come out to disgust people. As Suzumiya Musashi spoke, the elder clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. Bagyalu, soft fist Bagwa Liu, Konoha fierce wind. Boom, tilde. The lightning flashed. With a louder bang, the elder didn't even scream and his figure disappeared leisurely. Suzumiya Musashi dispersed his chakra and looked at the stunned Hyuga Neji. Your Hyuga elder is a bunch of nonsense, but his strength is not that good. Hyuga Neji didn't know what to say. Even if the elder of the Hyuga clan is weak, he is at least a jonin. Of course, since the inheritance of the main family is not only based on personal strength, coupled with the fact that he is getting older and has been pampered for many years, there are reasons why he is weaker. But being able to defeat the opponent in an instant is too scary. After defeating the Hyuga people, Suzumiya Musashi looked at the remaining tall Kumagakure. It's your turn. Facing Suzumiya Musashi's gaze, the Kumagakure ninja just chuckled. Interesting. I didn't expect that Konoha would have such an interesting person like you. Your method just now is very similar to the lightning escape of our Kumagakure village. Suzumiya Musashi, what do you want to say? Kyusugakure ninja, let our people go, I can let go of the previous things. Suzumiya Musashi couldn't believe what he heard. He said uncertainly, say it again. I said let our people go. While I'm in a good mood, I can let go of other things. Suzumiya Musashi looked up and down at the other party again. After confirming that the other party might not be a fool, he said, can you represent Kumagakure? The Kumagakure ninja looked proud. Of course. Okay then, Suzumiya Musashi said, since you. If I can represent Kumagakure, I will settle accounts with you. Kuragakure ninja frowned and said, settle accounts? What accounts? Suzumiya Musashi said, settle the grudges between me and Kumagakure. First of all, just now, your people kidnapped Hinata. Do you know who Hinata is? Miss Hyuga, the head of the White Eyes. No, Hinata is my brother's wife. Uzumaki Naruto. Letter FF77, letter FF9F, de letter FF9F. Uchiha Sasuke. Letter FF77, letter FF9F, de letter FF9F. Suzumiya Musashi continued, this is the first time. And last time, when Hinata was a child, you also kidnapped her once. This is the second time. Kuragakure ninja narrowed his eyes, so. No, so, I haven't finished yet. And the last time, it was also your Kumagakure people. Kidnapped my master. Your master? Yes, my master, Uzumaki Kushina. I have always remembered this grudge. The Kumagakure ninja seemed to laugh in anger. At that time, it seems that you were not there yet. Suzumiya Musashi, I don't care. Anyway, I have remembered the account. Speaking of which, you Kumagakure people are also stubborn and kidnap my people again and again. How do you explain this account? The Kumagakure ninja sneered. No explanation. Your Hokage has settled the previous things. It is not your turn to settle. Suzumiya Musashi said, Hokage? That Hokage? I don't know. That Hokage and Kumagakure settled it. Who can you go to? Anyway, I haven't settled my account. The Kumagakure ninja raised the corner of his mouth. It's ridiculous. Do you really think that you can cause trouble for Kumagakure just because you have some strength? I tell you, people must be released. If Konoha dares to move against the people of Kumagakure, you can't afford the consequences. Suzumiya Musashi turned and went into the house. After a while, he came out with the tied-up Chimoi. Chimoi was still struggling, but when he saw the Kumagakure ninja at the door, his eyes lit up instantly, thinking that he was saved. Bang! Suzumiya Musashi threw Chimoi to the ground like a sack, saying, I don't know who he is in your Kumagakure. Whether he is the son of the Raikage or the illegitimate son of the high-level officials. If you want to return him, you can't do it with just one word from you. Seeing that it was Chimoi who was alive, the Kumagakure ninja secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Then he looked at Suzumiya Musashi and said contemptuously, It seems that this kind of thing is not your turn to decide. The Konoha high-level officials have ordered. I don't believe you won't let him go. Suzumiya Musashi is not afraid at all. You can try. I am a direct subordinate of the Hokage. No one else's words will work except the Hokage's orders. You can ask for someone, but you have to pay a price. Chapter 139. The old man was very angry. The Kumagakure ninja remained unmoved. The Kumagakure people never compromise. If you want us to pay the price, forget it. If you are brave enough, just kill him and see if you can afford the consequences. Suzumiya Musashi, are you serious? The Kumagakure ninja raised his head proudly. Kumagakure will not deceive people like you. Suzumiya Musashi sighed. I am naive. I was thinking that if this person is really important to you, it is not impossible to exchange some training materials or something like that. I didn't expect you Kumagakure to be so stubborn. Suzumiya Musashi lifted Chimoi's neck with one hand. In that case, the Kumagakure ninja's eyes flashed with such contempt, just when he curled up the corners of his mouth. With a click, Chimoi's neck bent at a right angle. Before he died, there was still joy in his eyes of being saved. The look of the Kumagakure ninja, like Chimoi, was frozen on his face. Then, under the gaze of Suzumiya Musashi, his dark complexion turned red. He clenched his fists, and chakra flowed through his body. How dare you? How dare you? Suzumiya Musashi looked at him quietly. Why shouldn't I dare? This is the enemy who took advantage of the chaos to kidnap Konoha's bloodline limit. During the battle, I accidentally killed him. It's reasonable. You bastard, the Kumagakure ninja cursed. It was clearly in front of me. Suzumiya Musashi lifted Chimoi's right hand and swung it, and the powerful force threw the latter into the ruins in the distance. Do you have evidence? If you have the guts, go complain to the Hokage. The eyes of the Kumagakure ninja were red. Chakra surged, as if he would kill someone in the next moment. Suzumiya Musashi looked expectant. Unfortunately, he was disappointed. The blushing face of the Kumagakure ninja slowly faded. The other party finally restrained his chakra, looked at Suzumiya Musashi deeply, and turned away. Konoha's ninja, you will regret it. The funeral of Konoha's third generation, Naruto by Hiruzen, was held silently. In the rain, a sad and solemn atmosphere lingered in front of the tomb. The ninjas were dressed in black, some were silent, and some were in tears. Uzumaki Naruto, with tears streaming down his face, was undoubtedly one of the saddest people. Boss, is the enemy really that strong? Why, I couldn't save Grandpa Hokage. Suzumiya Musashi didn't know how to answer for a while. Is the enemy strong? Indeed, they are very strong. Whether it is the combined Aten 4 or Orochimaru, they are not ordinary opponents. Not to mention the first and second generations from the impure world reincarnation. But Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't survive. Is it really just because the enemy is too strong? The head of the Inoshikacho family, Hyuga Hayashi, Hade Kakashi, and him. No one said to rescue the Hokage first. The roots of Danzo, Mitokado and Udatain Koharu. If the strong men and former partners of each clan could lead everyone to take action, the ending might be completely different. But in the end, Sarutobi Hiruzen still died. A corrupt person will eventually step into the dust. Whether the past achievements or stains are so unimportant. Naruto. The enemy is indeed very strong. Suzumiya Musashi finally didn't say too much to Uzumaki Naruto. Whether Sarutobi Hiruzen is good or bad, it doesn't matter anymore. The other person is a beam of light in Uzumaki Naruto's heart. If possible, let this beam of light die on its own. Reaching out and stroking Uzumaki Naruto's head, Suzumiya Musashi fell silent, watching the funeral being held in a sad atmosphere. Looking at the ninjas of various tribes, under the shallow sadness, they hid the uneasiness and expectation for the future. After the funeral, Suzumiya Musashi took Uzumaki Naruto home. Boss, you seem to have something on your mind too. Back home, Uzumaki Naruto put away his sadness and cared about Suzumiya Musashi. The latter smiled comfortingly. I'm fine. Naruto, I asked you to come here because I have something to tell you. Tell me, what is it? Uzumaki Naruto asked in confusion. Suzumiya Musashi said, I promised you a long time ago. Your life experience can be told to you. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly widened his eyes. Suzumiya Musashi was not surprised and continued, Naruto. When you were little, didn't the people in the village always call you a demon fox? In fact, in a sense, this name makes sense. Uzumaki Naruto's pupils shrank. Boss, could it be that? Listen to me, Suzumiya Musashi continued, but the truth is not just that. The demon fox is a demon fox, and you are you. You have seen the nine-tailed fox, right? The nine-tailed fox. It is the stinky fox with 9 tails in your body. Uzumaki Naruto was shocked. Boss, do you know? Could that big fox be another me? No. That big fox, the world calls it nine-tailed fox. It is a powerful tailed beast that existed a long time ago. It is not another you, but is sealed in your body. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly became excited. Who would do such a thing? Thinking of the indifference, exclusion, and hostility he had received since childhood. Uzumaki Naruto's eyes turned red, and he wanted to beat the other party up. Suzumiya Musashi said, It's your parents. Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto was stunned, and his shock was far from over. When you were born, the Nine Tails was under the control of people and attacked Konoha. Your parents sealed the Nine Tails into your body with their own hands to protect the village. Your father is the 4th generation Mother Hokage of Konoha. And your mother is the orphan of the Uzumaki clan, the person who served as the container of the Nine Tails in the previous generation. She is my teacher. Speaking of this, Suzumiya Musashi paused for a moment, giving Uzumaki Naruto time to react, also silently remembering that fiery and gentle woman. After a long while, Uzumaki Naruto came back to his senses from the huge shock. It turns out that I'm not a demon fox. It turns out that my father is the Hokage. Finally knowing the news about his parents, Uzumaki Naruto was not as happy as he imagined. Dad is the Hokage. But why? Why did you seal the demon fox in your body? He asked the doubts in his heart. Boss, why did Mom and Dad seal the demon fox in my body? Suzumiya Musashi said, This matter is a long story. It has to start from the 1st generation. So Naruto, under the circumstances at that time, only you are suitable to be the container of the Nine Tails. That is the Jinchuriki that people fear. Uzumaki Naruto digested such sudden information. Suzumiya Musashi suddenly put his hand on his shoulder. Let's go. Uzumaki Naruto, go where to? To see the 9 tails in your body. After saying that, Suzumiya Musashi's spiritual power slowly surged out. The next moment, the two appeared in a dark water prison. Chapter 140. The sound of the iron cage was so strong that it could not stop. Tick tick. The damp and dark environment, the cage that connected the sky and the ground. In the interior space, Uzumaki Naruto looked at Suzumiya Musashi with surprise when he brought him here. Behind the thick pillars of the iron cage, a huge and terrifying shadow noticed the visitor and slowly raised its head. As the huge eyes opened, the red vertical pupils reflected the space in red, and boundless evil spirit surged. Uzumaki Naruto took 2 steps back in fear. Beside him, Suzumiya Musashi had a calm face and stared at the behemoth in front of him with indifferent eyes. Nine-tailed fox. Long time no see. The nine-tailed fox raised its head slightly, and the huge chains tied to its upper body rustled. The deep sound seemed to make the whole space vibrate. Tiny human. I don't think I've seen you before. Ignoring the huge pressure from the other party, Suzumiya Musashi said, but I've seen you. More than 10 years ago, that dead night. The blood and wailing are still in front of him. That feeling of powerlessness, Suzumiya Musashi has never forgot. Boss, have you seen it? Yes. Naruto, this is the nine-tailed fox sealed in your body, formerly known as Kuroma. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto has not reacted yet, and the nine-tailed fox on the other side of the cage suddenly changed color. Human, you actually know my name. As the chains rustled, the orange-red chakra storm overflowed from the cage, and the huge pressure directly made Uzumaki Naruto start to tremble. Nine-tail, put away your tricks. Suzumiya Musashi didn't care at all and turned to Uzumaki Naruto and said, Naruto, don't be afraid of it. Do you see its situation? The chains that bound it are your mother's, Vajra seal, and the cage that trapped it is your father's Bagua seal. It looks scary, but it's just a poor creature imprisoned. Roar, Tilda hearing Suzumiya Musashi's words, the nine-tail on the other side of the cage became furious, and chakra gushed out, wanting to kill the human who looked down on him. It was just that it was sealed, and the power that penetrated was not much, and it could not shake Suzumiya Musashi. It could only be furious on the other side of the cage. Suzumiya Musashi looked at Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto, this is your life experience. You have not let anyone in Konoha down, and even the entire Konoha owes you. What do you plan to do after learning the truth? Uzumaki Naruto was stunned. He looked at Suzumiya Musashi in front of him, and then at the nine tails behind the cage that killed his parents. Hostile faces, disgusted eyes. Suzumiya Musashi waited quietly. Finally, Uzumaki Naruto looked at him. Boss, I still want to be Hokage. Why? Uzumaki Naruto thought for a while. Although, I am also very angry, and I want to tell those people loudly that I am not a demon fox. But I still want to get everyone's recognition. Rely on myself. Suzumiya Musashi smiled. Whether it is the influence of Ashura or the nature of Uzumaki Naruto, it seems unimportant. Reaching out and patting Uzumaki Naruto on the shoulder, Suzumiya Musashi said, as long as you decide, I will support you. Boss, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes began to turn red again. Okay, don't be like this, you're not a child anymore. Well, boss, let's go out then. Wait a minute, I have something else to do. Suzumiya Musashi looked across the cage. Uzumaki Naruto was puzzled. In his puzzled eyes, Suzumiya Musashi's momentum suddenly rose. The powerful energy condensed into chains on his chest. In the astonished eyes of the nine tails, the chains stretched into the cage, and then gently attached to the original chains. Feeling the familiar chakra, Suzumiya Musashi's eyes were full of tenderness. Teacher, long time no see. I miss you very much. Even if there was no response, Suzumiya Musashi's heart was very satisfied. In the interior, a man and a fox just watched his strange behavior. Human kid, what tricks are you playing? The nine-tails finally couldn't help but speak. Suzumiya Musashi looked away in dissatisfaction, and then looked at the nine tails. At the beginning, it was the fox in front of him that brought him unprecedented fear and pain. Now, he is no longer the same as before, but the other party is firmly sealed by two forces. Nine tails. I want to F asterisk asterisk KU, very. It's been a long time. The huge vertical pupils of the nine-tailed fox trembled slightly, and it felt something was wrong. The next moment, more chains rushed out of Suzumiya Musashi's body. Together with the original chains, they quickly wrapped around the nine-tailed fox's huge body, and then suddenly tightened. Bang! The body and the head fell hard. The nine-tailed fox roared loudly, but facing the double diamond blockade, it was of no use at all. Then a thick chain was raised high in the cage space and fell hard. Snap! Roar, the nine-tailed fox roared. Damn human kid. Snap! Damn, I'm going to kill you. Kill all of you. Snap! Roar! Snap! After a long time. Outside, exhausted Suzumiya Musashi opened his eyes. Take back the hand on Uzumaki Naruto's shoulder. Feel the empty chakra, but his eyes are full of joy. Paw patting Uzumaki Naruto's shoulder, Suzumiya Musashi said happily, "Let's stop here today. Naruto, you should also rest early. See you tomorrow." Uzumaki Naruto. After the funeral of the third generation, the reign in Konoha is over. People's sadness did not last too long, and they invested in a new round of Konoha construction. Of course, the reason for not being sad enough is not ruled out. On the other side, after the Sand Village team retreated, they finally found something wrong. When they learned that their Kazekage had been killed long ago, and that Sand Village was fooled by Orochimaru, Maki and others felt that they were all stupid. No time to defend themselves stupid and self-blaming. Under the unified understanding of the top leaders, Sand Village silently sought peace with Konoha. Konoha also accepted it. Compared with the entanglement with Sand Village, Konoha and Sand Village have more important task selecting a new leader. At Konoha office, the top leaders gathered. Mitakato N, Uchiha Koharu, Danzo, the heads of various families and important members of the Anbu were all present. In the corner, Suzumiya Musashi, who was quite bored, whispered to Yamato beside him, "Captain, why did you call me here? The leader is in a meeting, so I don't need to join in the fun, right?" Yamato looked at him helplessly. "Musashi, you are also a jonin. Don't always think about slacking off." "I don't have any." Suzumiya Musashi curled his lips. He really didn't want to hold a so-called emergency work deployment meeting here. What's the point of holding a meeting? Can a meeting stop Nagato and Abaito? A bunch of old guys discussing things he didn't like to hear. Instead of staying here, he might as well do 2 sets of squats. Okay, that's all for now. The village has just experienced unrest, things are a bit chaotic, everyone should be more understanding. Maitaman N glanced at everyone present. Next, we have to decide the most important thing. The next candidate for Hokage, Chapter 141, the first time, the second time. After the words fell, everyone present looked serious. The selection of Hokage is not only related to the development of the village, but also to the future direction of each ninja clan. However, with the experience of the last time, the ninja clans did not express their opinions immediately, but asked, "What does the top mean? Is there a fixed candidate to recommend, or?" Koharu Uchiha said, "Everyone can recommend." After thinking for a while, he added, "As long as the candidate is suitable, everyone will vote." After this, the heads of the ninja clans looked at each other, all a little surprised and excited. Koharu Uchiha's words released a signal that the selection of Hokage, this time, would no longer be decided by the elders and consultants. Only Danzo frowned at his seat. Originally, he thought that he was the only candidate for the position of Hokage this time. After all, his biggest old rival Sarutobi Hiruzen has been offline. As long as he gets the support of the other 2 consultants, the position of Hokage is almost certain. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Koharu suddenly said that a collective vote would be required. What does that mean? You didn't inform me in advance before making a decision. Thinking of the relationship between himself and the various families, he felt that it might be a little more difficult for him to get the position of Hokage. But then, he thought of the fact that there were many ninja clan members serving in the route. It's hard to say in this case. Thinking of this, Danzo's eyes became more confident. Everyone can put forward the candidate you like. As Mito Kato and also spoke, everyone present looked at each other and began to discuss the suitable candidate. How about Hadate Kakashi? Hadate Kakashi, a disciple of the fourth Hokage, his status is okay and his strength is okay. But after his father died, his condition has not been very good. Are there any Hokage of the same period as the fourth Hokage who are quite capable? Yes, but none of them are suitable. For the next generation, except for Hadate Kakashi, the others don't seem to be suitable. Yuhei Kurenai is a woman, and her own strength is not enough to convince the crowd. Yuan Fei Asuma is okay, but Sarutobi Hiruzen has been in office for too long, and no one will agree to let someone from the Sarutobi clan serve as Hokage again. As for Might Guy, think about others. Just when everyone was having trouble deciding, Nara Shikaku said, "Jiraiya is back." The voices in the field stopped immediately. Then someone said in surprise, "Really? Really? We should be collecting materials somewhere in Konoha now." I choose Raya. I also choose Raya-sama. I support. Agree. Jiraiya-sama is the popular choice. What about Tsunade-sama? She is also a Sannin and the granddaughter of the first generation. What's the use if we can't find someone? Just like that, everyone agreed that Jiraiya would succeed as Hokage. In the corner, Danzo's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. So you never considered me. How ridiculous. Everyone naturally noticed Danzo's ugly face, but no one paid attention. As the head of each clan in Konoha and a former companion, everyone knew what kind of person Danzo was. The position of Hokage was not suitable for Danzo. Even the heads of each clan were not suitable. The most suitable candidate for Hokage in everyone's mind is preferably someone without a family, with outstanding talent, and who has made military achievements. After the first and second generations, the Senju clan declined. The fourth generation was a civilian ninja. Only the third generation Sarutobi Hiruzen had a family behind him. Look at when he died, not a single confidant came. Danzo did not take the initiative to run for the election in the end. Even if he was confident, he knew that compared with Jiraiya, he would not get much support from people. When the other party returned to Konoha, the position he had been thinking about had already been taken. After the meeting, Suzumiya Musashi was about to leave with a relaxed look on his face, but was kept. "Elder Koharu, you are looking for me." Suzumiya Musashi looked at the two consultants in front of him in confusion. "That's right." Uchiha Koharu looked serious and said in a low voice, "Someone reported that you attacked the elder of the Hyuga clan and killed the people of Kumigakure. You need to explain." It turned out that someone had complained. Suzumiya Musashi said, "Elder Koharu, Elder Hyuga came to my house to cause trouble. I had no choice but to fight back. You said that he is a ninja from Konoha, but he is walking with the ninjas from Kumigakure. Is that too much?" Uchiha Koharu looked unhappy. "What about killing Kumigakure? They took advantage of the chaos to kidnap Konoha's Byakugan. I can't just sit there and wait for death." Suzumiya Musashi. Uchiha Koharu's face was as gloomy as water. "I already know everything that happened. You were too reckless. Let alone Kumigakure, the great elder of Hyuga, an old man, how could you be so harsh?" Suzumiya Musashi's face also sank. "What is an old man? He is just a withered skeleton like you, unwilling to be lonely." Looking at Uchiha Koharu in front of him, his eyes were no longer respectful. "When you are old, you should guard the coffin and don't come out and wander around." Uchiha Koharu widened his eyes. "You." Suzumiya Musashi was too lazy to even perfunctorily respond, and turned around and left. "I am the direct subordinate of the Hokage, and only the Hokage has the right to govern. It's not your turn." Walking out of the office, regardless of the faint sound of broken teacups behind him, Suzumiya Musashi gathered his mood and went home to practice. In the next few days, the ninjas of Konoha were busy. The damaged buildings needed to be rebuilt, and the relatives of the dead ninjas needed to be comforted. In order to prevent other villages from attacking when Konoha was weak, all the forces that could be mobilized were mobilized, and even Uzumaki Naruto and his gang of genin began to perform patrol and alert tasks in the village. What surprised Suzumiya Musashi was that even in such a shortage of people, he was not assigned any tasks. "Captain, what's going on? Doesn't the Anbu have any tasks?" Suzumiya Musashi asked when Yamato came home. "Musashi, actually, the Anbu still has tasks." "The Anbu has tasks?" Suzumiya Musashi was surprised. "Why didn't I receive a notice?" Yamato was a little embarrassed. "It's the elder's idea. You're not on the list of tasks released." "I'm frozen." Suzumiya Musashi widened his eyes. "Is there such a good thing?" "Not necessarily." Yamato said, "Maybe the elders think you need to rest for a while." What else can Suzumiya Musashi say? "Captain, remember to thank them for me." Yamato certainly wouldn't agree to such a request and brought up another topic. "Speaking of which, Musashi, although there is no task for you for the time being, there are still some things that need your help." Suzumiya Musashi said helplessly, "No way, Captain. There is no task for me, and you're still looking for work for me. I still want to have more time to practice." "It's not a very difficult task." Yamato explained, "It's Zayan." "Zayan?" "Yes," Yamato nodded, "go and persuade her. I tried, but it didn't work." Chapter 142. The mountains are covered with trees, and the trees are covered with trees. The back mountain of Konoha. The forest and the water complement each other. Maoyue Zayan sat alone by the stream, with several wine bottles tilted around her. She watched the river flow quietly, with sadness in her eyes. The footsteps behind her were deliberately obvious, and she continued to pour wine into her mouth without turning her head. The clear wine flowed down her throat, a little overflowed from her rosy lips, and flowed into her mouth along the corners of her mouth. "Zayan." Hearing the familiar voice, Maoyue Zayan turned around. "Musashi, it's you." "Yeah. Did the captain ask you to come?" You were finally given a holiday by the top management, and he still found work for you. Are you okay?" As soon as Suzumiya Musashi said this, he wanted to slap himself. What a stupid thing to say. As expected, Yuzuki Yugo did not respond. Looking at the bottles scattered around her, it was clear that she was in a very bad state. Suzumiya Musashi walked to Yuzuki Yugo, straightened the fallen bottles one by one, and then sat next to her. He did not speak either, just silently accompanied her, watching the river flow quietly. The leaves rustled in the wind, and there was no words for a while. After a while, Yuzuki Yugo suddenly spoke. "He's dead. He died suddenly, the night before the exam. I was uneasy all day, and it was not until I saw his body that I knew he was really dead." As he said this, he took a big gulp of wine. Zayan drank slowly. He swallowed the wine in big gulps, as if he wanted to swallow his sorrow. "I didn't have time to use the signal I gave him. Maybe the enemy was too strong, or maybe he didn't expect that he would die like that. That guy, although I always praise him as stronger than me, don't be arrogant." Suzumiya Musashi grabbed the bottle in the other's hand. With a little force, Maoyue Zayan naturally couldn't resist, and the bottle was held in his hand. He didn't drink it either, just held it. Maoyue Zayan glanced at him, then turned back, wiped her hand in front of her, and conjured a new bottle of wine out of thin air. Pulling out the lid, another big sip. "Before he died, we had a date here. We exchanged ideas as usual. We hugged as usual. We felt each other's body temperature, exchanged saliva and—" "Stop," Suzumiya Musashi hurriedly stopped. "Yuyan, there's no need to talk about these details." Yuzuki Yuyan glanced at him with contempt. "You're married now, you've done what you should do. Why can't you listen to this?" Suzumiya Musashi smiled bitterly. What does this have to do with being married? This is not what you should say to your colleagues. Yuyan, let the past be the past. No one wants to see things turn out this way. But life still has to look forward. Yuzuki Yuyan looked at the water. Of course, I know that the past will always pass. But I still can't get excited about anything. Obviously, our feelings are not that deep. Suzumiya Musashi said, "Zayan, don't be so stubborn. it's not shameful to love someone. I'm not stubborn. Our feelings are not deep. Not deep. If it's not deep, why can't you do it during the Fourth War? Suzumiya Musashi complained in his heart. Yuzuki Zan continued. Rather than saying we are lovers, it's better to say that he is my boyfriend. He has what I need. What I like most about him is that he never refuses me. At home, in the wild, in the back mountain, in the Anbu office. Suzumiya Musashi widened his eyes, wondering if he should cover his ears. As long as I propose, he will not refuse. Of course, I won't agree to refuse. I like his begging expression when he is obviously exhausted and still wants to be dragged by me to spar. Suzumiya Musashi struggled. At that time, I felt that I could do anything. He was just a toy that I could play with at will. Whether he begged for mercy or gave in, I said he couldn't stop, and he couldn't stop. The more he resisted, the more I enjoyed that feeling. Only at that time did the pressure from the Anbu leave me. No missions, no killing, only happiness. Suzumiya Musashi gave up struggling. He felt the sound of the engine in his ears and the marks on his face. He never thought that Yuzuki Yuga would be such a woman. No one noticed it while he was on duty. Captain Yamato, you didn't tell me either. But I didn't expect that he would die suddenly. I didn't have time to say goodbye properly. He didn't do what he promised me. Suzumiya Musashi kept his mouth shut and never asked what Geku Gale had promised. When I first knew about it, I was just a little numb. Gradually, I started to feel sad. It felt like a part of my body was empty, and I no longer had that kind of happiness. Every day when I open my eyes, there are endless tasks to do and endless enemies to kill. Yu Yan, hearing this, Suzumiya Musashi couldn't help but say, if the pressure in the Anbu is too great, don't do it. It's good to leave the Anbu. Look at Senior Kakashi, isn't he doing well now? You need to do something else to distract yourself, maybe it will be better. Yuzuki Yu Yan turned her head and looked at him quietly. Just when Suzumiya Musashi's scalp was numb, Yuzuki Yu Yan suddenly stood up. Follow me. Suzumiya Musashi didn't understand why, so he stood up and followed. Yuzuki Yugo led the way in front, and soon, the two of them reached a high place. Two big trees formed a shade. A flat grassland several meters square, with shallow grass just above the ankles. Very suitable for picnics. Standing here and looking into the distance, you can see the mountains in the distance, the winding river, the busy Konoha, and the successive Hokage on the Hokage rock. The scenery is pleasant. Suzumiya Musashi said, it's really nice here. Yugo, if you look around here more, your mood will be much more open. The landscape of Konoha is very good, which can ease your mood. Yuzuki Yugo said, this is where I hate the most. Suzumiya Musashi closed his mouth with a frown on his face. It's also the place where we spar the most. Suzumiya Musashi's eyes twitched. In the years we've known each other, half of my happiness has come from here. Suzumiya Musashi is checking the route down the mountain. This is too weird. This is not how we chat. You can even chat about your mood or your mission. If that doesn't work, talk about murder and arson. What is this for? Just when he was having a headache, Yuzuki Yugo retracted his gaze and looked at him. Musashi, do you know why I brought you here? Suzumiya Musashi's eyes were stunned. Why, I don't know. No, I don't want to know either. Yuzuki Yugo didn't care about his reaction. Gently approached and put a hand on Suzumiya Musashi's shoulder. Help me, Chapter 143. The sound of a heavy hammer hitting Suzumiya Musashi's head was so loud that he could not help but was shocked. It was like a heavy hammer hitting Suzumiya Musashi's head. There was a buzzing sound in his ears, and he suspected that he had heard it wrong, but he did not dare to ask. Help me. Help me find the happiness I had before, and help me forget the pain. No need to ask this time. Suzumiya Musashi felt that an unknown tailed beast sneaked into his head and released the tailed beast Jade. One after another. When his three views were blown away by the sudden impact, Mao Yue Ziyan took advantage of the situation and put her other hand on his shoulder. Then one hand went up to attack his ear, and the other hand attacked. No. Suzumiya Musashi finally came back to reality, exclaimed softly, and took a step back. No Z in this. What's wrong? Maoyue Zian frowned in confusion. You don't like it? Suzumiya Musashi spoke incoherently. No, not. Maoyue Zian looked at herself. Is it because I'm not beautiful? Suzumiya Musashi, no, not either. Although Maoyue Zian is still dressed in the Ambu costume today, she is still very beautiful. Gorgeous facial features, moist lips. A head of purple hair falls naturally, exuding a faint and refreshing fragrance. The fitting clothes can't cover the curvy lines, and then down, the slender and tight legs, and then the white and small. Any man, even zero, will not say that the other person is not good-looking. Maoyue Zian, why? Because I'm here to comfort you. That's right, isn't that what we want to do? Not this comfort. Suzumiya Musashi turned his head away and calmed his heart. Maoyue Zian asked, why did you reject me? Suzumiya Musashi thought for a while and said, Zian, I just hope you won't be too sad. It's not a matter of charm, I just don't want to do anything else. I swear to the sky that he really just came to comfort his teammates. It's impossible to say that he is not moved at all by Maoyue Zian's proposal. The other party is very beautiful. Although the impact on the three views in a short period of time is a bit big, the other party is very beautiful. The reason for the rejection is that he has no intention of messing around. Maoyue Zian is very beautiful, but she is just very beautiful. He has no other thoughts. There are many beauties in the ninja world. If he wants every one of them, 10 will not be enough. One person can't love them all. He doesn't think he is a loyal and devoted person, nor does he have the idea of keeping male ethics, but his goal is not on these things. His goal is to practice. He wants to protect the people around him through practice and live well. He wants to make up for the regret of the 8 gates through practice. He wants to study wonderful ninjutsu and explore the limits of his ability. If possible, it would be best to change this bastard ninja world. As for women, it's enough. Before coming here, the only person he had fantasized about was Tsunade. If it was really a great female ninja like Tsunade, he might not be able to resist the temptation, but he always regarded Yuzuki Yugao as a teammate. It's good for everyone to do tasks, slack off, and chat when they are lazy. There is no need to communicate too deeply. Colleagues just be colleagues. Otherwise, they will have to perform tasks together in the future, and it will be very troublesome to follow someone who has communicated deeply. Although his sister at home is not very strong, he is satisfied. Each dish has its own fun. Yuzuki Yugao, it's better to be a colleague. It's not wise to mess around in the workplace. Across from him, Yuzuki Yugao carefully looked at him, first with suspicion, then indignation, and finally thoughtful. After a while, he whispered, I didn't expect that Musashi-kun is still a conservative man. Suzumiya Musashi smiled bitterly. It's not a question of being conservative or not, forget it. Let's not talk about this, Yugao. Are you feeling better now? If it's better, I still have things to do. No, Yuzuki Yugao shook his head and said, after you came, I felt worse. I wish I could jump directly from here. Suzumiya Musashi. Just when he was a little restless, Yuzuki Yugao looked at him, and suddenly his eyes turned. Since you can't comfort me, then drink a glass with me. Suzumiya Musashi. Yugao, you know I don't drink. Just this time, drink with me, drink enough and worry about it. Just forget it. Suzumiya Musashi thought about it, nodded and said, okay, we can drink. But not here, let's go down the mountain to drink. Okay. Konoha and Izakaya. Yuzuki Yugao asked for a closed private room, and then filled the table with bottles of wine. We each have half, drink it all. Suzumiya Musashi was about to say that this was too much, and Yuzuki Yugao said, don't refuse. If you refuse again, we will break up. His lover had just passed away, and it was not easy for him to refuse coldly, and Yamato had specially asked him for it. Thinking that his alcohol tolerance should be okay, and he would not lose his composure, Suzumiya Musashi finally agreed. Then just drink. Yuzuki Yugao's eyes flashed a trace of success. The wine glasses clinked. Cheers. He drank one cup after another. Suzumiya Musashi felt that the alcohol content of this wine should be okay for his drinking capacity. Even if he drank all the wine on the table, he would only have to go to the bathroom a few times at most, and there would be no problem. Relaxed, Yuzuki Yugao complained to him about the mission of the Anbu and the embarrassing things between colleagues, and laughed from time to time, as if he had forgotten what had just happened. But he didn't know that in a place where he couldn't see. Yuzuki Yugao lightly wiped his bottle without leaving any trace when she opened the bottle. After drinking 2 more bottles, he felt the 2 who were not drinking well ask the chef to serve the dishes. With the aroma of the dishes, Maoyue Zayan moved her hands gently under the table, and the faint aroma was barely audible in the aroma of the dishes. A glimmer flashed in Maoyue Zayan's eyes. HMPH, you actually rejected me. The more you refuse, the more I insist. I, Maoyue Zayan, am in the Anbu, and my skills are not exaggerated. Today I must eat you. Looking at Suzumiya Musashi, who was feasting, Maoyue Zayan happily waved the wine glass. Cheers. Chapter 144. After the meal, Suzumiya Musashi was already tipsy. Just when he was thinking about how to end the party, Maoyue Zayan took the lead and said, "Let's stop here. Thank you for today, I feel much better." Suzumiya Musashi was a little surprised. He was slightly tipsy after relaxing. He waved his hand lazily, "You're welcome. We are partners fighting side by side." Zayan, believe that tomorrow will be a better day. Maoyue Zayan lowered her head, and the emotions in her eyes were blocked by her long eyelashes. Well, I know, maybe it's not just tomorrow that's beautiful. Let's go. Let's go. After the 2 said goodbye at the door of the izakaya, Suzumiya Musashi walked home with a smell of alcohol. As he walked, he thought about I am at home. Today, Yuzuki Yugao provoked him to get angry, and he couldn't wait to go home. Just as he was thinking, I am suddenly appeared in front of him. Musashi, you drank. Suzumiya Musashi was startled. Sister, why are you here? I'll go to the store to see. I am said and took Suzumiya Musashi's hand. Why are you drinking in broad daylight? Suzumiya Musashi felt a little empty in his heart. That my colleague had some troubles, so he drank 2 glasses. Sister, let's go home. I am said, forget it this time, don't drink so much next time. Hee, I know. The 2 walked back slowly hand in hand. As they moved, a faint fragrance lingered at the tip of their noses, and Suzumiya Musashi felt that he was even more angry. Sister, let's go faster. Akoris looked at him thoughtfully. Why hurry up? Suzumiya Musashi looked around and saw that there was no one around, so he approached and whispered, I miss you. Akoris' eyes flashed with a smile, and then he deliberately said, I won't. Oh, by the way, Musashi, mushrooms have grown by the river recently. Let's go pick some mushrooms and take them back. Suzumiya Musashi felt that his sister was teasing him deliberately and begged in a low voice. Sister, go home. I will go home and cook for you. Akoris proudly pulled him away. We will eat mushrooms tonight. If you want, accompany me to pick mushrooms first. Suzumiya Musashi, who couldn't resist Akoris, had to agree. Okay, then let's hurry up and go back early. Akoris rolled his eyes at him. Monkey is impatient tilde. The 2 turned in a different direction, and instead of going home, they came to the Nanhe River. After arriving at the river, Akoris really took out a small bag, walked into the grove by the river, and picked mushrooms. Suzumiya Musashi followed reluctantly, and in order to finish as soon as possible, he also helped pick mushrooms. Akoris thought he was picking the wrong mushrooms, so he asked him to wait and he would do it himself. Suzumiya Musashi could only wait behind. As he waited, he felt that he was getting angry again. Akoris bent over and carefully looked for mushrooms in the bushes. The evil justice tilted back, and under the restraint of the skirt, it formed a sharp contrast with the slender waist. The lawn on the back mountain, and the tiger and wolf words of Yuzuki Yugao suddenly appeared in his mind. For some reason, Suzumiya Musashi gradually approached, and then slowly stretched out his hand. What are you doing? He touched the worm. Suzumiya Musashi's breathing became rapid, and it seemed that 100 small hands were scratching his heart. He gently hugged Aquarius, who was picking mushrooms. "Sister, I want to have a picnic." Ayame listened, pursed her lips, her eyes trembled, and she seemed to be tempted. "This can't be done. What if someone sees us? This is a forest." "Don't worry, I'm very sensitive. I'll find out if someone comes," Suzumiya Musashi advised. Ayame was still worried, and she blocked the other's hands with both hands, as if she was holding them, but also as if she wanted to push them away. "No, no. Please, sister." Seeing that Ayame remained silent, Suzumiya Musashi thought that the other party still couldn't accept it, and considering Ayame's feelings, he put down his hands. "Well, let's finish picking mushrooms quickly and go home quickly." Ayame. After a moment of silence, Ayame suddenly said, "If you really want to, go a little further in." Although he didn't know why the other party suddenly agreed, Suzumiya Musashi was still overjoyed. "This was the first time I had a meal outside of my home." Pulling each other, they soon came to the depths of the grove. With the help of Aquarius, they put oil in the pot and added firewood to start the fire. The green mountains were gone. Flowers and grass are lush. Two people are picnicking in the woods. When they encounter weeds, they flatten them with their feet and then find hot water to pour over them. Eating at home is a completely different feeling than eating outside. It's like when I was a kid, my family carried the dining table to the yard, and I ate while feeling the coolness of the summer night. It's like going out for a picnic, eating while feeling the natural fragrance of the grass. It's like Suzumiya Musashi at this moment. It's obviously the same person, eating the same thing, but with completely different feelings. In my ears is the sound of oil smoke that I can't suppress with all my efforts. In front of me are trees and grass. The nose is filled with the seductive fragrance of flowers. The breeze blows by, bringing a hint of coolness to the sweaty people. Suzumiya Musashi feels like he has endless strength. Today's meal tastes particularly different to him. It seems that not only the environment, but also the taste and texture of the ingredients are very different from the past. Today's dish is very nutritious, and the chakra in the body seems to flow more happily than before. Iris also praised his cooking skills today. At a certain moment, he was directly praised for the delicious food, and even Suzumiya Musashi was a little afraid of being seen, and silently released his perception to prevent anyone from approaching. However, it seems that because it was the first time he drank, his perception was a little blurrier than usual. But as long as no one came, he could continue to enjoy it. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 50 minutes. Iris was still in high spirits. "Musashi, your cooking skills are amazing. I am so happy to eat the food you cook every day." Suzumiya Musashi felt a little strange. Today's sister seemed particularly happy. At this time in the past, the other party was obviously full and had no strength, so she could only let herself clean up the mess. Why did she eat more today than before? Could it be that the environment has changed, so his appetite is better? Such a thought flashed through his mind, and Suzumiya Musashi stopped thinking about it. How can you be distracted when enjoying delicious food? It's rare to come outside to cook for a while. If he gets busy in the future, there will be fewer opportunities. While it's still early, he should eat more. As he worked hard, Ayame's praise became louder and louder. The squirrels and birds in the forest were scared away. With such encouragement, Suzumiya Musashi also cooperated more. Finally, when he used the cooking speed of a physical ninja, the chopsticks flashed between the cups and plates, and the soup fell all over the floor. At a certain moment, Ayame suddenly exclaimed from the soul, "Musashi, you have a good appetite. I have never seen a guy who eats as much as you." With a sound of bang, a puff of smoke appeared in front of his eyes. As the transformation technique was lifted, Suzumiya Musashi's pupils trembled. Only then did he realize that the meal he cooked for the picnic was not eaten with his sister. The sound of birds singing resounded through the sky. Suzumiya Musashi, who was a little scared, reacted a little excitedly. With the explosion of chakra, he actually used the water shadow's dissolution escape and attacked the opponent fiercely. The opponent had already anticipated his attack at the moment when the transformation technique could not be maintained, but he was unable to dodge and let the attack fall on him. This is the price of stealing. Chapter 145. The two of them were in the woods. With Suzumiya Musashi's sudden attack, Maoyue Zayan not only did not fight back, but looked back at him with a pair of eyes. Turning around gently, Suzumiya Musashi couldn't help but take a few steps back, waving the spatula. "You don't come over here." SHH tilde Maoyue Zayan chuckled. "I won't eat you. Why are you hiding so far away?" Suzumiya Musashi didn't listen at all. He hurriedly put away the kitchen utensils. Even though he was much stronger than the other party, he was a little confused at the moment. This is too much. He thought that what happened in the morning was rare, but he didn't expect that the following development would further destroy his worldview. Yuzuki Yugo, this woman, how could she resort to such messy means? Yuzuki Yugo nonchalantly exposed her heart to him. Her scallion white fingers gently brushed the corners of her lips, and her lazy tone was like a cat that had just eaten. "It tastes very good. I like it very much." Suzumiya Musashi. He felt that all this was flustered and absurd. He wanted to say something, but didn't know where to start. He could only keep the words in his heart. Although he was deceived, he couldn't shamelessly say that the other party took advantage, and he suffered a loss. You. What about me?" "Pack up quickly," Suzumiya Musashi said, intending to leave. He couldn't stay here for a moment. Yuzuki Yugo flashed, regardless of her embarrassed image at the moment, and stood in front of Suzumiya Musashi. Said frivolously, "Did I let you go?" Suzumiya Musashi, "What else do you want to do?" "Believe it or not, I can make you cry for a long time with one punch." Yuzuki Yugo, "I haven't finished what I'm saying yet. Do you know why I'm looking for you?" Suzumiya Musashi frowned. "I don't know. It's obvious that he and Geku Gale are not the same kind of people at all. One is morbid and gentle, and the other is energetic and youthful. They are completely unrelated." He really couldn't figure out why he was targeted by the other party. Even if it was Hade Kakashi, it would be more reasonable. Yuzuki Yugo admired his sister's tangled expression and smiled. "Let me tell you. When I first came to the Anbu, I didn't have any ideas. At that time, you were just a big boy who didn't fit in with the Anbu. After working together for a long time, I realized that you are different. Very strong. You are also very enthusiastic towards your colleagues. When everyone encounters difficulties, you will lend a hand. Although the clothes you wear are a little ugly sometimes, you are still very handsome." Suzumiya Musashi, "That's it." Yuzuki Yugo, "What else?" "Things between men and women are originally a feeling and imagination. Passionate, strong, and caring for teammates, isn't that enough? You know, when I see you full of energy in the Anbu, I have an impulse. The impulse to make you as weak as the wind. I want to see you unable to be a bathing heater. I think you are crazy." Suzumiya Musashi was about to leave, and Yuzuki Yugo moved sideways and blocked him again. "I haven't asked you to leave yet." Suzumiya Musashi said softly, "I want to leave, can you stop me?" "I can't stop you," Yuzuki Yugo admitted frankly, but then changed the subject and said, "But if you leave, I will tell everyone about the meal you cooked for me." "Musashi, you don't want IM to know what happened today, right?" Suzumiya Musashi, slanting eyes and speechless JPG. Seeing him like this, Yuzuki Yugo smiled even more happily. "Hahaha, it's so funny. Musashi, has anyone told you that you look cute like this?" Suzumiya Musashi didn't say anything. Forget it, I'm just teasing you. I just want to see you tangled and flustered. Don't worry, I'm full today. Thank you for the treat, Tilda." Evening. At Suzumiya Musashi's house. IM looked in the direction of the bathroom with some confusion. As soon as Suzumiya Musashi got home today, he rushed into the bathroom and didn't come out for a long time. "Musashi, why did you take so long to take a shower today?" "Come out to eat." In the bathroom, Suzumiya Musashi, who was rubbing himself hard, heard the voice and stopped. "Sister, you guys eat first, I'll be right there." As he said that, The rough bath towel was swooshed on his body. Swish, he rubbed the towel vigorously until a layer of it was worn off, and then he finally put it down. After dinner, Suzumiya Musashi started his routine ninjutsu research and went back to his bedroom to rest until late at night. Ayame came over. "Musashi, what happened today? You look worried." Suzumiya Musashi felt uneasy, and faced with Ayame's concern, he was like a child who had done something bad secretly. "It's okay," he explained, "it's just some tasks and some things with colleagues." "It's over." "It's good that it's okay." Ayame was relieved and prepared to rest, but Suzumiya Musashi was not sleepy at all. "Musashi, take a rest. There is still a lot of work to do in the store tomorrow." Suzumiya Musashi couldn't sleep. It was like releasing pressure, and also like compensating for guilt. He pulled Ayame and did his best to make a midnight snack for her. Due to his tireless performance, Ayame ate earlier than usual. Suzumiya Musashi continued, "If you can't eat it, just keep it in your pocket." So when Suzumiya Musashi got up the next day, Ayame had to rest at home as expected. As for the business in the store, it had to be taken care of by the uncle alone. After experiencing the previous things, Suzumiya Musashi felt that men should protect themselves when they go out. Since the Anbu didn't assign him any tasks, he was happy to be free, so he simply found a corner of the practice field to hide and practiced every day. The practice of physical skills cannot be missed for a day. Basic research on the synthesis of blood limit and gradually made progress. He planned to use busy practice to forget everything else. Practice. Other things have nothing to do with me. However, the facts made his idea go awry. 2 days later, Maoyue Zayan found him. Looking at Maoyue Zayan, who appeared in front of him, Suzumiya Musashi turned around and ran. Maoyue Zayan didn't have time to say a word, and saw Suzumiya Musashi disappear at an extremely amazing speed. "I thought I could live in peace by hiding, but Maoyue Zayan was like installing a radar positioning on him. No matter where he hid, he could always find him in the end. When he was caught by Maoyue Zayan for the third time, he couldn't help but doubt it. Did the other party secretly learn the telescope technique of Saruto by Hiruzen? Otherwise, Konoha is not small. How can the other party always find him? Don't run. If you run again, I will shout." In a hidden forest in Konoha, Suzumiya Musashi was blocked by Maoyue Zayan again. Chapter 146. The old man was very angry. "Shift. Did you install something on me? You can find it." Matsuki Yugo smiled proudly. "Of course, I can find you if I want to. I can guess what you do. Besides training, I can find you in any place in Konoha where you can practice quietly." After hearing this, Suzumiya Musashi completely gave up the idea of escaping. "Tell me, why did you come to me?" Matsuki Yugo walked to his side. "Don't even think about running away. Why did I look for you?" "Of course I'm hungry." Suzumiya Musashi covered his forehead. "If you're hungry, go eat." "I'm busy." Yuzuki Yugo looked at him teasingly and said, "Really? If I look for someone else to eat with, it's okay with you?" Suzumiya Musashi fell silent for a moment. Think about it, if Yuzuki Yugo looks for someone else now. Damn. Looking at his tangled expression, Yuzuki Yugo looked like as expected and chuckled. "I knew it. You look reluctant, and it's obvious that you're not saying what you mean. For someone like you, I can guess what you're thinking at a glance. You clearly want it in your heart, but you can't keep it up on your face. A little man who says one thing and means another. It's really interesting." Suzumiya Musashi was speechless. It seems that what the other party said is right. He really is a little bit hypocritical. If what happened a few days ago hadn't happened, he wouldn't care no matter how Yuzuki Yugo messed around. But now the sparring has been done, and the food has been eaten. If the other party messes around with someone else now, he will definitely be unhappy. "What do you want?" "I don't want anything," Yuzuki Yugo said and walked closer. While Suzumiya Musashi was dodging subconsciously, he grabbed him. "Don't worry. I'm very content. You want to practice in peace, or you want to live a simple life with your wife. As long as I'm full, everything else is up to you." Suzumiya Musashi tilted his head back and looked at the beauty in front of him in shock. Are you a reincarnated female bodhisattva? Yuzuki Yugao said in a faint voice, so what's your answer? If you don't want me to go find someone else to eat, shouldn't you make an effort to fill my stomach? Seeing that Suzumiya Musashi didn't respond, Yuzuki Yugao showed a confident smile. Close to his ear, exhaling like orchid, I'm hungry now. As he said, he began to look for kitchen utensils restlessly. Finally, Suzumiya Musashi uttered a sentence. Just this once. Sister, forgive me. Back home at night, even though the daytime training consumed a lot of physical strength, Suzumiya Musashi, who felt guilty, still washed and comforted Akoris. 3 days later. This is the last time. Go home and comfort even harder. 5 days later. I warn you not to go too far. Go home and make up for it with all your strength. 10 days later. Musashi, stop. Suzumiya Musashi stopped in confusion. Sister, what's wrong? I am hurriedly said, you are still young. Take care of your body. Don't you still need to practice? I haven't been to the store for a long time. If you keep going like this, Dad will be angry and come to find you. Suzumiya Musashi looked at his sister, who was a little overworked these days, and felt that he had gone too far. He tucked the corners of the quilt for her distressedly and said softly, okay. I know, go to bed early today. I fell asleep. Perhaps after a few days of eating a lot of fish and meat, Yuzuki Yugao finally wanted to take a break. Suzumiya Musashi rarely had a few days to concentrate on practicing. He couldn't hide, so he simply didn't hide and returned to the place where he practiced. Just when he was practicing, Tianchen came to him. Teacher Tilda. Tianchen, what's wrong? Suzumiya Musashi looked at Tianchen, who was a little aggrieved and asked puzzledly. Tianchen looked at him. Teacher, what have you been busy with these 2 days? Why can't I see you? Suzumiya Musashi coughed lightly. Well, teacher has something to do recently and just finished it. You know, the village is at a critical juncture now. There are always some urgent matters. What's wrong, Tianchen? Have you encountered difficulties in your practice recently? That's not the case. Tianchen squatted down and hugged his knees with his hands. Said with an unhappy face, Teacher, you're biased. I am biased, how can you say that? Tianchen said, obviously. You are biased towards Karin. You forgot your best apprentice when you had something good. Suzumiya Musashi was at a loss for words. Why? What good thing did I give Karin? The fire sealing scroll. Tianchen said. Karin took it out that day and swoosh killed the Cloud Village who kidnapped Hinata. I asked her, and she said you gave her the fire sealing scroll. As she said that, she stared at him pitifully. Tianchen actually knew that Suzumiya Musashi had been very good to her, but she was like a child who was greedy for candy. When she saw that the teacher had good things for others but not for herself, she always felt unbalanced. Suzumiya Musashi suddenly realized and explained. Tenten, the teacher, is not biased. The fire sealing scroll is very dangerous. Karin knows some sealing techniques, so I gave it to her. Is that so? Tilda Tenten said, still looking at him pitifully. Suzumiya Musashi helplessly. Okay, don't look at me like that. Isn't it okay to give it to you? Yeah, Tenten jumped up suddenly and said happily, Teacher is the best. Chapter 147. The two of them were very happy. Suzumiya Musashi took out a small scroll from his arms and handed it to Tenten. Inside it was the remnant of Amaterasu, left by Uchiha Itachi many years ago. There were only 3 scrolls in total. Karin had used one before, so he made up for it. This is the last one. Here you go. Just like Karin, don't say I'm partial this time. How could that be? Tilda Ten argued. Teacher treats me the best. Suzumiya Musashi glanced at Tenten, but didn't refute her. After thinking for a while, he took out another scroll from his arms and handed it to her. When you encounter a tough enemy, tear the scroll and throw it at the enemy quickly. But Tianchen, the fire-sealing scroll is very dangerous. Be careful with the flames inside. The second scroll has a fire-sealing seal I set. If you accidentally get burned, you must wrap it around your body as soon as possible. Remember. Tianchen took the scroll and nodded repeatedly. Remember, remember. Of course, it's best not to use it. You don't know how to seal, so it's still very dangerous for you to use this scroll. Tianchen hid the scroll close to his body with satisfaction, patted it to make sure it wouldn't be lost, and talked about the second purpose of coming to find Suzumiya Musashi. Teacher, I have learned the Rasengan now. Do you have any new ninjutsu to teach me? Also, teacher, you said that I am most suitable for development in the direction of summoning beasts, but I don't even have a summoning beast now. Suzumiya Musashi couldn't help but say, You think I am Doraemon when you think I am your teacher. Although Tianchen didn't know what Doraemon was, he knew that he was a little greedy. She was already very happy to get the fire sealing scroll, and the rest was just a try. Teacher, I'm just asking. It doesn't matter if you don't have it. Teacher, are you thirsty? Do you want me to pour you a glass of water, or rub your shoulders? Forget it, Suzumiya Musashi said unhappily. He thought about it, and felt that what Tianchen said made some sense. After mastering the Rasengan, all he had to do was practice continuously. He should indeed learn some new ninjutsu to increase his means of dealing with the enemy. However, Tianchen couldn't learn his five-element ninjutsu. As for the summoning beast, he hadn't decided where to find it yet. After thinking for a moment, his eyes suddenly lit up. Let's go home with me. After returning home with Tianchen, Suzumiya Musashi searched for his ninjutsu information, while Tianchen looked at his and Iam's bedroom with curiosity. Teacher, this is the master's wife's bedroom. It's not good for me to come in. If the master's wife knows, she won't be angry, right? Suzumiya Musashi glanced at her. Who told you to come in? Go wait in the living room. Oh. A few minutes later, Suzumiya Musashi found the information to unseal it, and returned to the living room with a stack of information and put it in front of Tianchen. Here for you. Teacher, what is this? A new technique. Is it powerful? Suzumiya Musashi said. Whether it is powerful or not depends on whether you can learn it. Tianchen was puzzled. What do you mean? Is this technique as difficult as Rasengan? Suzumiya Musashi nodded and said, Maybe. This technique may be more difficult than Rasengan. Tianchen immediately looked embarrassed. It took her more than a year to barely master the Rasengan alone. Here comes another ninjutsu that is more difficult than Rasengan. Is it so difficult to have no talent for the five elements ninjutsu? What? Suzumiya Musashi looked at Tianchen, who looked like she didn't know what she was talking about. This is an S-level ninjutsu. Tianchen immediately shut up. Then her big eyes glowed like a light bulb, and her breathing became rapid. S-level ninjutsu. It's exciting just to hear about it. Just think about it. If she becomes the first person in a group of friends to master an S-level ninjutsu, how cool it would be to go out. Don't be happy too soon. Suzumiya Musashi interrupted Tianchen's fantasy. The name of this technique is Flying Thunder God. It is a space-time ninjutsu that has been developed and perfected by 2 generations of Hokage. Tianchen's breathing became rapid again. Suzumiya Musashi instructed, Tenten, before learning this ninjutsu, there is one thing you must remember. Never tell anyone about this technique. Brother Kai Li Ningsai, even your parents, you can't tell them, remember. Remember, Tenten nodded vigorously. But teacher, why can't I tell you? In short, you can't tell you. The Flying Thunder God technique is his. It was stolen from the sealed book. Now that the 3rd generation has passed away, it can be taken out. Even if it is discovered in the future, it can be explained that it was given to her by Minato. But in order to avoid trouble, it is better not to tell anyone. Tianchen was very excited. If she doesn't want to tell you, then don't tell her. This condition is nothing to have the opportunity to learn S-level ninjutsu. It is foreseeable that she will have a sweet dream tonight. Suzumiya Musashi didn't know whether Tianchen listened or not, and began to explain the precautions of Flying Thunder God to her. Flying Thunder God, as an S-level space-time ninjutsu, is powerful and difficult to learn. At least the ninjutsu professor and the strongest Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't know it. He didn't know whether Tianchen's talent could learn it, but he just held some hope and let her try it. Teacher, do you know this ninjutsu? Can you show it to me? After listening for a while, Tianchen suddenly said with some expectation. She didn't forget the scene when Suzumiya Musashi showed her the Rasengan. Even if you can't learn it for a while, it's good to see the power of S-level ninjutsu in advance. But Suzumiya Musashi shook his head. I can't do it. This is a time-space ninjutsu. My talent doesn't meet the requirements for learning. Teacher, you don't know it, then I. Tianchen suddenly became worried. Relax, Suzumiya Musashi comforted. Your time-space talent is better than mine, and you may learn it. Here are some ideas I have for studying other ninjutsu. If you study them carefully, it may be helpful to you. After getting the Flying Thunder God technique, Suzumiya Musashi certainly tried to study it. Unfortunately, it's impossible to get started. The requirements for talent are too high. After all, there are too few ninjas with excellent talents like Senju Tabarama and Namikaze Minato in the ninja world. In his guess, Uzumaki Naruto might be able to give it a try. In his memory, the other party was able to maintain spatial perception and continue fighting while turning into a shuriken and spinning rapidly. It might be a talent inherited from Namikaze Minato. And Uzumaki Naruto has a few fox whiskers. The whiskers of ninja cats can enhance spatial perception, and it is unknown whether Uzumaki Naruto has a similar effect. He plans to wait for Uzumaki Naruto to grow up a little bit, and then give this technique to him to see if he can learn it. As for Tianchen, his expectations are not high. If there is hope, even if she can learn it in 10 or 8 years, it is worth it. Rasengan can give her a certain combat power when facing Chunin and Genin. If there is a chance to find a suitable summoning beast, and Tianchen has enough chakra, she can also fight against Jonin. And Flying Thunder God is a life-saving method he prepared for his little apprentice. Once he learns it, his safety will be greatly guaranteed, and he can feel more at ease. Teacher, I am so touched. Tianchen raised her head, and both eyes were a little red. I will definitely work hard. Suzumiya Musashi smiled and said, Don't be moved so early. Now you should do a good job of the Rasengan and basic training, and make sure that the chakra is sufficient. As for this ninjutsu, just take your time. It's just that I can only help you with this technique to a limited extent. You need to slowly understand it yourself. Don't worry, teacher, I will definitely work hard. After leaving Suzumiya Musashi's house, Tianchen was happy and worried. What she was happy about was that Suzumiya Musashi was so good to her. Not only did he plan her future route, teach her the attributeless ninjutsu Rasengan, but he could even teach her S-level ninjutsu. Such a teacher can't be found even with Neji. What she was worried about was that she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to learn it. In the ninja world, the ninjutsu of a Jonin is generally only B-level, and a level is rare. And S-level ninjutsu is a precious ninjutsu that is difficult for ninjas from the big ninja clan to access. If she gets it but fails to learn it, she will definitely blame herself. She was even more afraid that Suzumiya Musashi would be disappointed in her. Thinking about Suzumiya Musashi's teachings to her, she secretly made up her mind. I must learn it. I can't let my teacher down. Chapter 148. The two of them were very close. My name is Hoshigaki Kasame. Please teach me. On the streets of Konoha, Sarutobi Asuma stared at the two people in front of him as if he was facing a great enemy. To be precise, it was Uchiha Itachi. Even though Hoshigaki Kasame was a powerful ninja, a famous rebel ninja in the land of water. But as one of the most powerful masters of the young generation in Konoha, he did not think that he could not resist the opponent. Uchiha Itachi was different. The first major clan in Konoha, the Sharingan clan that made the ninja world fear, was destroyed by the opponent. Even he was not sure that he could resist such a record. But this is Konoha, his village, and he must not allow the other party to do whatever they want. Konoha guys, don't underestimate the person standing in front of you, Hoshigaki Kasame said with some displeasure, waving the same hata in his hand. Bang tilde. On the other side, as Hoshigaki Kasame and Sarutobi Asuma fought, Yuhei Kurenai also bravely attacked, and used her best illusion on Uchiha Itachi. After a few breaths, the two of them were GG. Uchiha Itachi put one hand on the opening of his collar and said coldly, "You are not my opponent. Let's stop here." As soon as the voice fell, another person's voice sounded behind him. "It's me who should say stop here." Uchiha Itachi slowly turned his head. Hadake Kakashi. Hadake Kakashi held a kunai, and also ignored Hoshigaki Kasame on the side, and looked at Uchiha Itachi vigilantly. Uchiha Itachi. As a traitor to Konoha, what is your purpose in coming back at this time? While he was speaking, his mask had already fallen, revealing his eye-catching Sharingan. This was his full-strength state against the enemy. Two scarlet eyes stared at each other in the air. Haha, it's really rare. In addition to Mr. Itachi, I can actually see Sharingan again. Hoshigaki Kasame interrupted unwillingly. Uchiha Itachi and Kasame Hoshigaki of Kirigakure, what you are holding in your hand is the big sword Samehada, right? Hearing his name being called out by the other party, Kasame Hoshigaki felt refreshed all over. Restraining his inner satisfaction, he whispered, "Really, I didn't expect you to know my name." Kasame Hoshigaki held Samehada inconspicuously, posing a battle-ready but handsome look. "I heard that you fought with Zabuza. He is a man worthy of my Samehada's beating." "Stop, Kasame," Uchiha Itachi said coldly. "This is not an opponent you can provoke at will. Don't forget our purpose, you don't want to get hurt here." Kasame Hoshigaki was a little dissatisfied. Although Uchiha Itachi's strength is above him, he is also a powerful ninja. "Why do you always look like the enemy is very strong?" Uchiha Itachi looked at Kakashi. "Don't pay attention to us. After I finish my own business, we will leave." Hadake Kakashi remained silent, secretly clenching the kunai in his hand. He is Konoha's elite jonin. Just because the opponent is the famous Uchiha Itachi, he can't let the other party swagger around Konoha. Body movement, chakra burst out suddenly. Water-style water array wall. 1 minute later, Hadake Kakashi stood still, letting Uchiha Itachi do whatever he wanted. Uchiha Itachi said coldly, "If you really have the Sharingan, you can resist this Mangekyo Sharingan to some extent. But this special Sharingan pupil technique, Genjutsu Tsukiyomi, cannot be cracked." At this point, Uchiha Itachi paused slightly and then said, "The only ones who can defeat me are those who have the same bloodline limit and a very small number of people." How long can you last without a bloodline limit? The controlled Hadake Kakashi couldn't speak, and could only let Uchiha Itachi talk nonsense. "In the space, all the rules of space, time, and mass are controlled by me. In the next 72 hours, I will stab you continuously. Use this knife in my hand." After a few breaths, in the incredulous eyes of Yuhei Kurenai and Sarutobi Asuma, Hadake Kakashi fell to the ground. "Kakashi, you lost so quickly." "Horrible." Hadake Kakashi barely managed to stay above the water, worry flashing in his tired eyes. "Uchiha Itachi, is your target Sasuke?" Uchiha Itachi's answer was beyond his expectation. "No, we are here to find the legacy of the fourth Hokage. Uzumaki Naruto." Hadake Kakashi's pupils trembled slightly. "Are you a member of the Akatsuki organization?" Uchiha Itachi was slightly surprised when his origin was exposed. In order to avoid complications, he ordered, "Kasame, take Mr. Kakashi away. The other two, make them disappear." Although he was ordered, Hoshigaki Kasame did not look unhappy at all. He raised the Samehada in his hand and smiled cruelly. "In this case, then." "Konoha. Gorgeous tornado." The shout came from far away, followed by a swift green light. Hoshigaki Kasame was startled and raised his hand, but he could not keep up with the opponent's speed. A huge force came from the Samehada in his hand. While his arms were in great pain, his body flew backwards instantly. A green figure appeared in the field, and at the same time, the shout of youth echoed. The proud blue beast of Konoha. Might Guy. At this moment, even the wind in the air is green. Kasame Hoshigaki stabilized his body, looked at Might Guy who was posing strangely in front of him, spat, and said in a vicious voice, "What blue beast? It should be a rare beast. Mr. Itachi, don't stop me, I want to kill him." Itachi Uchiha frowned slightly, without saying anything. When he saw Might Guy's familiar appearance, his cheeks twitched slightly, and some not-so-good memories emerged in his mind. Hearing what Kisame Hoshigaki said, he couldn't help but remind him, "Kisame, don't underestimate that person." As he said, his face showed the most serious expression since he was discovered. On the opposite side, Might Guy carried the weak-headed Kakashi. The voice was filled with rare anger. "Damn it! Kakashi got hurt like this." Seeing Might Guy's angry look, Asuma Sarutobi quickly reminded him, "Don't look into Itachi's eyes, Kai." Might Guy said, "I know this kind of thing. When I had a youth duel with Kakashi, I knew how the Sharingan fought. I also know what I need to pay attention to when fighting with the Sharingan. Just don't stare at the opponent's eyes. Judge based on the opponent's footsteps." Asuma Sarutobi was helpless. This method didn't sound like something he could master. Might Guy continued, "There is a trick to grasp all the actions of the opponent just by looking at the footsteps. But it's urgent now, I don't have time to teach you. Red, take Kakashi to the hospital, Asuma, let's stop them. At least delay until the reinforcements from the Anbu arrive." Might Guy looked confident, which made Hoshigaki Kisame furious. He tightly grasped the Samehada sword in his hand and said in a snarling voice, "It really makes me angry." Seeing that he was about to attack, Uchiha Itachi hurriedly said, "Kisame, stop it. This is a teammate who has finally gotten along well with each other." Chapter 149. The two of them were in a state of panic, and the two sides were in a state of panic. Seeing Kisame's puzzled look, Uchiha Itachi said, "We are not here to start a war. Kisame, we should leave." Although he was unwilling, Uchiha Itachi's tone was very serious, and Hoshigaki Kisame said nothing more. He looked at Might Guy, who kicked him with hatred, and retreated with Uchiha Itachi. Might Guy was still hesitating whether to stop him. Looking at his weak friend Hadate Kakashi, he was worried about him and took him to the hospital first. After settling Hadate Kakashi, Sarutobi Asuma sighed. "Itachi Uchiha seems to be even stronger." Yuhai Kurenai echoed, "Yes. The pressure he put on me is far from the level of a Jonin. Did he really return to Konoha for Naruto?" Might Guy said, "It should be correct. Since Kakashi said so, it is basically correct. Itachi's target may really be Naruto." As he was talking, the sound of hurried running came from outside the door. A few people looked up and saw only the back of Uchiha Sasuke. "That kid heard it," Yuhai Kurenai said worriedly. "Let him hear it, such news can't be hidden from him," Might Guy said. "Yuhai Kurenai, aren't you worried about him and Naruto?" "Might Guy, don't worry. Musashi should be with Naruto now. With him, everything will be fine." The scene in front of him quickly retreated. Uchiha Sasuke ran like crazy on the streets of Konoha. "Have you seen Naruto? Mr. Takeda, have you seen Naruto? Uncle Handbeater, have you seen Naruto?" Everyone answered that they didn't know, which made Uchiha Sasuke's tone more panicked. In his mind, the scene of that horrific night that he would never forget kept repeating. The young boy was in a panic in the blood and death. Beg for mercy, run for his life. The icy voice was still in his ears. "People like you are not worth being killed. My stupid brother, if you want to kill me, then hate me, and then live ugly. Run as hard as you can, and survive as hard as you can." Uchiha Sasuke clenched his fists tightly. "No, hurry up. Must be quick. If Naruto is caught by that person, he will be finished. Absolutely, this kind of thing must not happen." When someone finally knew the approximate direction of Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke immediately rushed there desperately. 2 minutes later, he finally arrived at the hotel. The too rapid running made his breathing rapid, and his brain slightly dizzy, but he still ran forward regardless of everything. Finally, he arrived at the destination. In the corridor, there was no controlled Naruto, only two figures in black and red clothes. As a figure slowly turned around, blood-red pupils appeared on one side. A familiar voice sounded in my ears. "Long time no see. Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke's figure froze in place. Then a hateful voice said, Uchiha Itachi. In the long corridor, the two brothers looked at each other from a distance. The same blood-red eyes, the air was filled with burning hatred. In silence, Hoshigaki Kasame interrupted again. Oh Sharingan. Mr. Itachi, it's the same eye as yours. Is he related to you? My brother. Kasame Hoshigaki asked in confusion. Brother, didn't you say that all the people of the Uchiha clan were killed by you? Itachi Uchiha paused and said, there are still a few fish that escaped. Hearing Itachi Uchiha's words, Sasuke Uchiha recalled the original scene in his mind again. Blood all over the ground. Clan members died everywhere. The veins on his forehead bulged, Sasuke Uchiha's chakra flowed to the palm of his hand, and the voice of hatred overflowed from his chest and abdomen. Uchiha Itachi, I want to kill you. Over the years, I have hated you and despised you as you said, and everything is to kill you. On his right hand, the light of lightning began to accumulate and flicker. To kill you I am alive now. Like a flock of birds screaming. In the violent chakra fluctuations, Uchiha Sasuke rushed forward and shouted at the top of his lungs. I'm going to kill you, go to hell, tilde. The figure approached rapidly. Boom, the right hand flashing with lightning was instantly clamped, and Kaien. Birds chirped in the sky, tearing the wall apart. Bang, another muffled sound. A piercing kick made Uchiha Sasuke's body swing up, and then fall. He fell to the ground with a thump. The severe pain could not cover up the hatred and fear in his heart. Uchiha Sasuke then realized that he still couldn't block Uchiha Itachi's move. I obviously practiced hard. I obviously learned a powerful ninjutsu. Why? Bang, a powerful kick hit his chest, and under the huge impact, Uchiha Sasuke's body shot backwards and slammed into the wall. The power of the technique depends on the person who uses it. You are too weak. You can't even fully control your own body. You are simply the worst ninja. Amidst the disparagement, Uchiha Itachi gradually approached, and then fists and feet met. The dull sound of bang 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 continued. Even Hoshigaki Kasame couldn't help but look sideways. Mr. Itachi, you are really merciless. Bang. Too weak. Bang. Is this your strength? Bang. Why are you so weak? What have you been doing all these years? Playing games with children again. Bang bang. Not enough. Not enough. You are far from such hatred. Blood kept flowing out of his mouth. Uchiha Sasuke had no power to resist and let Uchiha Itachi punch and kick him. As his injuries worsened, his consciousness seemed to begin to blur. Uchiha Itachi finally stopped. Reaching out his hand and grabbing Uchiha Sasuke's neck, pressing him against the wall, Uchiha Itachi said slowly, "People like you are not worth killing." The familiar words stung Uchiha Sasuke's heart, causing him to suddenly widen his eyes. The next moment, the windmill pattern came into his eyes, and with an irresistible spiritual power, Uchiha Sasuke's head was stinging. Gloomy, dark, and bloody. The long-forgotten memories resurfaced. The familiar terrible illusion was used again. What he saw was the tragic death of his clansmen and the pool of blood. My stupid brother. If you want to kill me, then hate me, despise me, and then live ugly. The unbearable yesterday reappeared. Uchiha Sasuke could no longer resist and howled miserably. Chapter 150. After a while, the moon was still shining. After a while, moon reading was lifted. Uchiha Sasuke returned to reality. Hatred filled his heart, but he could not muster the slightest strength. In anger and despair, Uchiha Itachi turned his head and looked into the distance, and a familiar voice seemed to come from his ears. Yo, Tilda. Who did I think it was? Isn't this a generous brother Tilda? A green figure, similar to Might Guy, came into view. Uchiha Itachi's mouth twitched, and his face suddenly looked ugly. It's you. Musashi. Uchiha Sasuke also turned his head with difficulty. With eyes that could barely open, he could barely see a familiar figure. In an instant, he felt a sense of reliance. Musashi, big brother. Uchiha Itachi. These few simple words were like drums beating in his ears. His face was ugly, and he couldn't help but exert force on the other person's right hand when he heard this name. Uchiha Sasuke rolled his eyes and fainted. Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto, who was following behind Suzumiya Musashi, had not yet recovered from the shock of Sasuke being pinched and the other pair of Sharingan, but saw the other person being pinched and fainted. In an instant, his eyes widened and he shouted. The orange-red chakra began to overflow almost instantly. Damn it, you actually beat Sasuke like this. I can't forgive you, Tilda. Naruto instantly burst out the Ninetales chakra. His momentum began to become violent and unstable. Seeing this, Suzumiya Musashi put a hand on Uzumaki Naruto's shoulder. As the sealing technique was performed, the violent chakra slowly calmed down. Naruto, don't be impulsive. Leave it to me. Boss, although Uzumaki Naruto was furious, he still stopped his hand obediently and then said, We must punish them severely. They actually treated Sasuke like this. Don't worry. Opposite. Hearing the conversation between Suzumiya Musashi and Uzumaki Naruto, Kasame did not see the serious eyes of Uchiha Itachi in front of him, and a sneer appeared on his face. Pick up, what a funny joke. But it's okay, I haven't found it for a long time, and I didn't expect it to come to my door. His eyes paused on Suzumiya Musashi for a moment. The other party was dressed very similarly to the rare beast that had just kicked him. But judging from his age, his strength should not be that strong. His eyes turned to Uzumaki Naruto. The Ninetales is his target. Mr. Itachi, the Ninetales came by itself. It seems that we don't need to work hard to find it. In order to prevent him from running around, let's cut off one of his legs first. Uchiha Itachi looked at him in surprise, and just as he was about to speak, Hoshigaki Kasame continued, Forget it. Chopping off the leg is not appropriate. Uchiha Itachi's eyes relaxed slightly. This kid's chakra is very strange. If he lets him perform ninjutsu, it may be very troublesome. Cut off his hand. Uchiha Itachi, right era. Before he could dissuade him, Suzumiya Musashi had already sneered, and he couldn't suppress his anger towards Hoshigaki Kasame, who was staring at Uzumaki Naruto. The lightning chakra was fully exerted, covering the whole body in an instant, and the whole person was like a lightning. Noisy. Using all the power without opening the 8 gates. Konoha Gorgeous Cyclone. Hearing this familiar name, Hoshigaki Kasame subconsciously raised his guard. But then he became angry. He was a renegade ninja from Kirigakure and a core member of the Akatsuki organization, but he was made mentally alert by the man in green clothes. Damn it! Since you are wearing clothes that I hate and using the same tricks as that person, don't blame me for being ruthless and killing you. With anger boiling in his heart, Hoshigaki Kasame suddenly raised the same hata in his hand. Hoshigaki Kasame ran out. Boom, tilde. Hoshigaki Kasame shot back. With a loud bang, Hoshigaki Kasame flew backwards at several times the speed like a cannonball ejected from the chamber. Uchiha Itachi narrowly avoided the opponent. The sharp sound of breaking wind. A moment later, accompanied by a loud bang, a big hole was directly knocked open in the thick wall, and the figure of Hoshigaki Kasame could no longer be seen. Uchiha Itachi. Just as he was hesitating whether to leave, Suzumiya Musashi looked at him suddenly. Why did you come back? Uchiha Itachi, You still have the nerve to come back. That, you did it for Sasuke. Or for Naruto. Are you still planning to take Naruto away from me? No. The cheek seemed to be hurting again. For a moment, Uchiha Itachi didn't know how to answer. It seemed a bit sorry to Hoshigaki Kasame to say that he didn't have this idea. If he said so, he didn't want to confront Suzumiya Musashi now. Not at all. Just when he didn't know what to say, a vulgar voice came from far away. Hahata, you actually want to use a woman to distract this immortal. Let me tell you, A real man will not be tempted by the beauty of a woman. Men like me, women will take the initiative to deliver themselves to the door. A tall, white-haired figure rushed in from the hole in the wall. In one hand, he carried an unconscious, beautiful girl. In the other hand, he carried a fainted Hoshigaki Kasame with a broken arm. With a bang, he threw Hoshigaki Kasame to the ground, and then carefully put the woman aside. The man looked at the people in the field and put on a spirited posture. A man's true nature, capturing women's hearts, powerful ninjutsu, loving pretty women. This is my true nature, Jiraiya. Uchiha Itachi felt that his crow seemed to be saying something. Soon, Uzumaki Naruto, who was not far away, jumped out. Don't say such blushing lies anymore. You are so excited when a woman gives you a nice look. You were actually diverted by such a despicable means. It's so embarrassing, lecherous, immortal. Jiraiya almost fell down and said in embarrassment, Naruto, how many times have I told you not to call me a lecherous sage? That's right, if it weren't for the boss, Sasuke, and I might have been killed by these two people. Lecherous sage. Jiraiya's face flushed. He turned to Uchiha Itachi in anger. It's all your fault. You actually have such a despicable trick to deal with this sage. Bekaya Luerver. Uchiha Itachi's eyes flashed. One Suzumiya Musashi made him not want to stay here, and here comes Jiraiya. There is no need to stay any longer. As if he saw through his idea of escaping, Jiraiya suddenly moved. Summoning technique. The bright red flesh wall squirmed on the wall, and in the blink of an eye, it completely wrapped around. Jiraiya looked at Uchiha Itachi proudly, in the surprised eyes of Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto, watch out for my tricks. I summoned the esophagus of the giant toad of Iwajuku in Mayaboku Mountain. No one can escape. Sorry. Itachi, you have to stay here with Kasame. Suzumiya Musashi held back his complaints. He found that these guys in the ninja world were more confident than each other. They were more pretentious than each other. Don't you know that you can't set up flags randomly? All right, legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.